Okay, guys. Hey, welcome to the live. I'm gonna try to get a half an hour in here before Charmaine's and my reading start with Lauren. So that's Astro by Lauren. But anyways, hey Charmaine.
Hi, I made it on time. Are you impressed?
Okay, you seem rather low. Maybe it's just me. Go ahead, speak again, Charmaine.
I'll
No,
check my mic.
that's good. That's good. Nothing. It's just me on my side. Anyways, happy Tuesday. Tuesday
Is it
today.
Tuesday?
Yeah, it's Tuesday. And again, happy birthday to Kent yesterday and Citizen Sleuth, who had birthdays yesterday. And there was somebody else, but I don't remember that person's. There's somebody else that said that it was their birthday that was in chat yesterday. But anyways, okay. So obviously, I don't think this was unexpected, to be honest with you, with the Claire Bell here going on. Just even the little bit that we knew, it didn't make sense right away. And so you knew that there was something up with this one, wouldn't you say, Charmaine?
It's I don't want to say it blew my mind, but it kind of sort of blew my mind a little bit.
Did it really?
Just how kind of quickly it came about.
Yeah, I mean, just the gist of 9:45, and then she's 2 hours later. She's like 50 minutes or whatever away, 50 kilometers away. I was like, yeah, no, this stinks. Instantly, it stinks, right? Because no way if your kid's missing or you freaking 50 kilometers away, and then report this child missing and stuff. Anyways, so it's definitely wasn't shocking. I just, right now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that she's been charged with abandonment. Probably they're waiting, of course, to be able to find this little girl, Claire Bell, hopefully, the best. But I mean, they found the dog dead yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it if she was in that area somewhere, but doesn't look good. Doesn't look good.
And it seems like it's never ending. Like once one parental issue ends, another one comes up that's just as if not more heartbreaking. You know what I mean? Like nothing is sacred to these people.
Nope. And it's so disgusting, It's no different than the three daughters of that the father took their lives there, and he's still on the run. But we'll see. Well, let's listen to this quickly. I'll play this, you guys. This was like an hour ago. Again, mother has been charged and with abandonment, as far as we know so far. So far, I know that they still haven't been able to locate Claire Bell. What a gorgeous child. Just heartbreaking. So let me play this.
Good evening. There were helicopters flying today over a large area around Pictou, west of Montreal. They're looking for Claire Bell. The 3-year-old girl was reported missing by her mother on Sunday. And now the mother has been charged with child abandonment. Olivia, you're at the SQ command post at Pictou.
Mitsumi, one of the things investigators here are trying to figure out is what happened in the hours leading up to the toddler being reported missing. On Sunday, the same day Claire Bell was reported missing, a video was posted to her mother's TikTok account with her holding the girl.
You try that again, and this is going to get ugly.
The caption on the video says, "Have you come up against mother with nothing to lose?" According to information obtained by Nouveau Info, the mother, 34-year-old Rachel Ella Todd, has injuries on her legs that could suggest she may have gone into a wooded area. The area where police are searching includes forests and tall grass. They are using helicopters, drones, and teams on foot to search Highway 30 between Highway 20 and 40 in the Montérégie region. The SQ requested that garbage and recycling in the area not be picked up, adding that it is a typical request in this kind of scenario.
We want to find the girl quickly, so we put many resources to find the girl as soon as possible. This is hard because we have a large area, and we we want to have some information from the public.
Now, Olivia, you were at the Salaberry de Valleyfield Courthouse this morning where the mother was charged.
As you mentioned earlier, Mitsumi, the 34-year-old mother, was charged with child abandonment. She appeared at the courthouse by video conference. She was wearing a red T-shirt and had a gray blanket draped over her shoulders. Todd is scheduled to appear in person for her bail hearing Wednesday. The Crown is opposing her release for the security of the public.
For now, we don't know what happened to Madame, the little girl. For now, we have the police officer still investigating. So we want to make sure that nothing more tragic is going on.
The Crown has confirmed that more charges could follow depending on what investigators here find, as the search for the missing toddler is still ongoing.
Okay. What are you going to say? She has marks on her. Chances are this is not good at all.
That poor baby looked terrified in that TikTok. Just horrendous. And again, no Amber Alert because it didn't meet the criteria. And I understand that she wasn't even reported missing, but people must have saw that TikTok. People in her life. I have so many thoughts and questions. It's so infuriating that we're here again. We're here again.
Yep. I don't even know what to say because at the end of the day, I don't care. I honestly don't care who you are. You are sick and twisted if you have done anything at all. Anyone that does anything to children at all. There's no words. I can't even express my thoughts on that. Like right now, I'm just angry, but I'm upset, obviously, because I know there's not going to be a good outcome to this. And that's probably, a good theory to have at this moment, really, if she has markings. But that girl is so gorgeous and beautiful,
And again,
This is like what, revenge on an ex or something?
yeah, like all the rage now is if you see something, say something. And that doesn't just mean when you're, out and about and you see something strange. Like if you have a friend or an acquaintance or on your For You page and you're scrolling TikTok and you see something like that, say something. Like that TikTok had to have been viewed by people. And
Right. I mean, I would be worried if I saw someone said that.
absolutely, especially looking at that baby. That baby did not look well. She looked terrified.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as much as I want to talk about this more, just prayers for little Claire. Yeah, I don't see this being a good outcome at all. Mm-mm.
And
Anyway.
that's the worst part. That it doesn't matter. These people, they go to prison and then they're put in protective custody and they're taken care of for the rest of their days or for 25 years or whatever the Canadian justice system thinks is good enough. Like,
Heidi says that video has 464.k views. Okay.
And like how many of those were before this came out? Do you know what I mean? So that amount, I understand, is probably because of this, but there were views before that. People saw that. I don't care. I don't care if you just call an anonymous tip line or you send that video to somebody that can do something about it or check in a wellness check, anything, a mental health check, for crying out loud. And somebody should have said something.
Yeah, well, for all those people, too little, too late, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Maybe, people, it's hard.
And say lesson learned, next time we'll catch it, but will we?
Hold on, what's this that Steph has sent me here? Is that
Dead, Lily. Again.
Okay, just 1 second, actually. I'm going to bring this back down. 1 second. Let's see. Just give me a sec. I'm just going to play it. It's what Steph has just sent me. Share screen. Replying to Matt. Let's see here. I'm not
It's
sure.
on TikTok, you don't say.
What does this say? It's 10 minutes long. I don't got 10 minutes.
You've been following the Claire Bell case out of Canada, the 3-year-old girl who has been missing since Sunday, June 15th. You're going to want to hear this.
Okay, so honestly, we'll play this after, only because we're limited for time right now, because Lauren's going to be on here for 6:30. So we're going to go back to stop screen, present, share screen, and we're going to go back to this. Okay, so Belinda had messaged me earlier, and some of you guys have probably also already seen this. Belinda had messaged me earlier. That's the paternal grandmother of Jack and Lily. So, of course, before we get anything started there, sorry, my bad. Missing Jack and Lily since May 2nd in Nova Scotia and Lansdowne Station. And again, you know, this case has been going on since May 2nd. It's now the 17th. And basically, it's a matter of keeping awareness about this case. So please, whenever it comes to the missing or the murdered, please hit that like and the share. It's not about, again, for this channel, for the sake of the channel, it's always about the missing and the murdered, to bring awareness and attention to them. And this particular channel, we like to put out the facts and eliminate the garbage that's out there. So if you're into that, please hit subscribe. Other than that, so Belinda had messaged me and said that Dolly had one of Malaya's, so she said it's the grandmother to Malaya's cousin. Okay. Because at first I was looking for a female voice. Then I finally got to listen to it a little bit. And sorry, Belinda, if I haven't had time to message you. I just got home, raced to make a thumbnail. And then I, thought, no, gotta talk about that part. So, so this family member, cousin to the grandmother, whatever, calls in, and he's speaking to Dolly. You know, Dolly has his lines open and stuff like that. So, I mean, well, first of all, so shout out to Dolly on that one. I mean, most of you guys, if you don't know who Dolly is Dolly Vision on YouTube here. And so the relative calls in. Whoops, I got to take this one down to add this. And so at the 1:33 mark, and then of course, I mean, you can tell in this that obviously him and Daniel like talk, right? Because I guess they were like, knew each other from the lumber yard there and stuff like that. But anyway, so talks to Daniel. And bottom line is obviously this, whatever his name is, cousin to the mother of the, or grandmother or whatever, cares about the case regardless of Daniel's side or Malaya's side, just wants justice for Jack and Lily and wants to know what happened to it. So he feels like Jack and Lily are still alive. Basically, a lot of what he's saying is what we already have heard through our messages from Daniel and stuff like that. But he clarifies, to people that Malaya wanted out, and that was fact, and that he believes the children are alive. Like I said, some of the stuff that he says is obviously just like what Daniel's talking about. So it's always food for thought, right? I believe that this person actually is definitely the relative and stuff like that. And sometimes people, they just get frustrated, and you can tell that he was basically like, why aren't they speaking out though? Like, I know this is my family and I don't care almost if I piss anybody off at this point anymore, because why is nobody's like speaking out really from that side? Everybody's just freaking silent. Okay. Did you get time to listen to it, Sharmain?
I did.
Okay. So let me play this, and I might put it on a little bit faster speed here. Okay.
Okay. So to go snatching kids, unless you're going to hurt them, don't make a lot of sense. Yes, I'm looking for a house, and they are about $387,000 where I live. Man, houses are expensive. The cost of living is crazy. Dolly.
Hey, guys.
Hello. What's going on?
Hey, who's this? Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Nova Scotia.
What's up, Nova Scotia?
I think there's a lot of shit happened here.
All right, let's hear it. Tell us about it.
Well, I'm related to the kids that are missing.
Okay. How are you related?
And I know I'm Patty, the great-grandmother's my first cousin.
Okay.
Is my second cousin.
Okay.
And our family's been pretty close over the years.
All right.
And I know Daniel personally, and I know his family personally, so I'm sort of in the middle of everything.
Okay, well, good. Then you're probably a good person to talk to, so we can get a vibe of who these people are.
Well, there's something seriously wrong, man. And I looked into this. My cousins called me, and from Toro. I'm about 40 miles away from Toro, where their great-grandmother lives. I'm about 20 minutes from Lansdowne.
Okay.
And anyway, I looked into this quite a little bit. I've sort of been around here all my life.
Okay. Okay. I can understand.
I know a lot of people. Anyway, I think it's about time the Mounties. They've been dropping the ball pretty bad, if you ask me, because I mean it's been 6 weeks and these goddamn kids still haven't been found. And I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not biased towards my family or Daniel's side. But if somebody's responsible in my family for this disappearance of these kids and the treatment of these kids, I believe they should be fried like a goddamn egg.
Fried
my
like
family or not.
Yeah, I can understand that. Do you think these kids ran away into the woods?
No, I don't know. No, the number one reason I don't think the kids ran away into the woods is because the dogs were there. They had a couple dogs there just roughly after dinner hour. And I mean, these kids are small, and I know the property and that out there. And dogs are very efficient. I've had a little experience with dogs in my younger years. And if those dogs, I said when those kids were gone, if those dogs never picked those kids up within 45 minutes, there was trouble. Those dogs had from about 12:30, 1 o'clock, right through to almost dark that evening. It hadn't rained out there. People say it rained. It hadn't rained out there until just barely before dark, and it never rained heavy at that. So those dogs had hours to
pick up a trail.
Yeah, sure. And I knew as soon as the dogs never picked those kids up quickly that they weren't in the woods. At least that's my guess, my theory. Everything's alleged because, like you said, there's nobody talking in this goddamn thing.
Yeah, definitely nobody saying anything.
Well, I think the Mounties are dropping the ball here big time after 6 weeks. I think the Mounties should open up and tell the public everything they know, because there's a lot of people in the public around here that know a lot of things. And that way there, I think the information could be coordinated, and I think it could be pieced together.
Yeah. So if you don't think they ran off into the woods, do you think there's a chance of somebody kidnapped these kids?
Very small. Very small.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say I think the chances are very small too.
I personally talked to Daniel.
And
Daniel told me what he thinks happened.
Can you share? Can you share?
Well, not that part of it. Not that I can't share that part of it openly. But he knows a lot more than he's opening up with.
I think so too. I agree with you there. I think he knows more than he's saying also.
Well, I know that. I know that I'm 99% sure of that, and I'm sure Malaya knows a lot more than Daniel even knows.
So let me ask you this: since you've talked to Daniel and your family with Malaya, what is your theory? What do you think possibly could have happened?
Well, there's a couple things possibly could have happened. Let me ask you a couple questions.
All right, go ahead, shoot.
Why would the two kids? They tried to get the kids native status 3 or 4 times before they went missing. Why would the kids be given native status the day they went missing, but yet they refused to give Meadow native status yet?
That I don't know, because a lot of people, believe it or not, here on my channel believe that the kids may be on one of these reservations somewhere. But my problem with that is, why would you hide kids that are not Daniel's? Why would you hide those kids? If you were going to hide a kid, and say if you were scared of Daniel, you would hide Meadow, not Jack and Lily, because he's not the father of Jack and Lily.
Well, Malaya wanted out. I know this for a fact. And this, what I'll say when I say something's a fact, I have very good grounds to say it's a fact, because I won't say a bunch of shit. I won't conjecture. And by the way, I don't like some of the clickbait. Some of the stuff you guys put up on your screens just to attract people. A lot of it's an error. A lot of it's wrong. I find you not one of the worst at that. I'll tell you the truth. I find you not the worst at that. There's a lot of other ones. Really
yeah, there's some bad ones out there. I'm guilty of clickbaiting a little bit, but not terribly.
I know you are, but you should cut that out and you'd have a better news show as far as I'm concerned. I sort of like watching you. I like your attitude on a lot of things, but that clickbait thing is really bad, man.
Yeah. Well, I do it to spread awareness because I believe the more people that know about this and hear about it, especially with it not getting much coverage. Now, if a case had a lot of coverage, you don't really got to clickbait it because there's a lot of people interested in it. But to get people interested in it, I think it's a double-edged sword. Like if the good outweighs the bad, then I believe it's okay. And I think I see some of the clickbait that are like really bad, and I try to look at the good at it as at least it spread awareness because this is not getting the coverage that it should. Like if these two children went missing in the United States, this would be huge, and it's not a big deal in Canada. And I can't.
No, I disagree with that. It's a pretty big deal down here. Everybody in through our communities, like I'm a little older guy, and I hang around Tim Hortons with the boys in a couple different towns.
Well, I'm talking media-wise. I'm not talking about the concern of the general public.
No, you're right there. You're right there. You're right. Yeah, media-wise, it's not covered hardly at all.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I say I'm tired. The RCMP aren't getting anywhere in 6 weeks. Why don't they open up whatever information they have? Why don't they open it up? And like you just said, then make everybody. That'll even make more people aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And get it opened up. I think the whole community, I think the whole damn province has got to find these kids. And I think the kids are still alive myself.
I mean, if they're not going to rule out kidnapping, then people need to know that these kids are out there to keep an eye out for these kids. Unless you're just completely ruling out that the possibility there could be kidnapping, then it might not need as much media coverage. But right now, you can't completely rule out kidnapping. Then it should be blowing up in the media, and it's not. And like I said, in the United States, they're not covering Jack and Lily at all. Nothing. If it wasn't for YouTube, there would be no coverage in the United States for Jack and Lily. And
I agree. And the important ones in this are the goddamn kids. Nobody else. I don't care if they put pressure on people illegally or not. The important ones are those two kids.
Yes. And I agree.
And like you said, one thing I agree. Well, here's why I called you right quick. I've been watching you for a little while and a few other ones. When you said like some criminals have too much protection, I don't think that's the case generally. But in this case, I think it's warranted that some people have some serious pressure put on them.
Yes.
To talk, because I don't think people should not be allowed to talk in this situation.
Yeah, it worries me. It worries me when people don't seem as concerned as they should be, or even when people are overly concerned. Like
that's right. Everybody's talking about Malaya and Daniel and horseshit, and I don't hear too many people directly talking about Jack and Lily anymore.
Yeah,
and it's almost like they're being bypassed, and to me, it kind of makes me sick. Those are two beautiful little kids, and they're. I got to watch what I say because I don't want to say something that's. There's some things I can't say because my family on Malaya's side still talks to me some about the facts of this. Because I think I'm coming a little too close to something, to tell you the truth, because my cousins talk to me from that side of the family a lot, and they even asked me to look into it a little bit because I know everybody around here.
Yeah.
And the more I looked into it, and the more of the picture I got what was going on, the more they didn't like it. So now they've sort of shut down on me, and I don't want to say too much because you never know when one of my cousins is going to.
Yeah. Well, you're in a situation where if you're wrong, you're making family members mad, you know. And
That's right. And I'm almost prepared to make a few family members mad because I'm getting prepared to be direct with them because I don't like the way they're reacting. I don't like there's members of my family that should be screaming about those kids that aren't.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say that, and that's one of my biggest concerns with Malaya is you would think she'd be screaming from the rooftops, but yet nothing.
No. Well, and there's a couple of things too. I want to might as well straighten out, just little factual things that might help you and your viewers look at things a little different. Yeah, Daniel. Everybody's saying Daniel only works 1 day a week, but that's the mill that he works at. That they have shut down. The road has closures down here a couple times a year, and the mill shuts down. And sometimes the mill shuts down because they have lack of product. So most of the time, I'd say at least half to 3/4 of the year, he's working full time at that mill. My son worked at that mill with him. That's how I got to know Daniel originally.
Yeah.
And my son and him got to be friends. And Daniel to me has always been a very, very mild mannered, very respectable young fella. I've never had a problem with Daniel. And I told Daniel himself, I said, Daniel, if you've had anything to do, I just don't believe you've had anything to do with the disappearance of these kids. But I told him, if you have, I'll be the first one to really want to see you severely punished.
Yeah.
And he broke down and cried right in front of me and swore he never. And then he told me some facts, or he told me what he believed. And then I cross-checked some of the stuff he said to me, and I don't think he was lying to me. And then I've talked to him on the phone a little bit, and there was some funny circumstances around when he came into my place there. we had our talk. It was kind of funny. The people that were with him made me very curious, and I pieced some stuff together out of that.
Well, let me ask you this: how was their relationship, Daniel and Malaya's? Did they have a rocky relationship? Did they have a good relationship? Was there any signs of abuse in their relationship? Have you known them to do drugs? You know, just the basics, so people have a concept.
No, I don't know Daniel to know. I don't know Daniel to do any heavy drugs. I think Daniel. Matter of fact, I know Daniel had a few. He's a little bit of a beer drinker, a little bit of a soft liquor drinker, and I think he smokes a little weed now and then.
Okay, that's not terrible.
As far as heavy drugs, no.
Okay.
No, I don't know that in his history at all.
What about their relationship? How they got along? How did Daniel and Malaya get along before all this?
All right, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this for a fact, and this is a fact. 2 weeks before the kids disappeared, Malaya wanted out of there. She was calling members of the family and wanting to get out of there.
Okay.
Wanting to leave.
So something was going on.
They were you're the mystery cousin you were talking to for a while there, Logan. I know her well too. And they were having some financial difficulties, as a lot of people do around here, which was putting more pressure on them. And then Malaya, they had the new baby Meadow and stuff like that. So I think they had some financial pressure in that going on. And Daniel has been laid down. The reason they work 1 day a week is to keep their employees for when they're, they get unemployment plus their 1 day a week usually.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Yeah. So it's not that he was a bum or anything like that. Daniel always did work, and it's a rough job he worked at too. So I got to give him credit on that. And like I said, he was always respectful with me and around my place. And initially, I didn't believe Daniel had anything to do with this. Nothing. But he knows more. He knows more than he's telling. He's protecting Malaya, and I
thought that too, because he sounds brokenhearted, like a sad guy.
Yeah, he's just. Listen, did you ever see a young fella, or did you ever see even old fellas? Did you ever see a fella so in love with a woman that it was just one of the most important things in life to some guys?
Yeah.
Well, that's the way he is. Malaya was everything to him.
Yeah, because it's more about upsetting Malaya. He don't seem like he cares too much about what people are saying about him, but it does bother him to hear people say things about Malaya.
Yeah, and by the way, the lawyer that Malaya's got, and this is about 80%. I'm pretty sure this is fact. The lawyer that Malaya's got is the chief on the reservation. It's the chief's brother on the reservation. He's a native lawyer, and Malaya never. They issue her the lawyer.
Yeah, is that common? Is that common with some?
Yeah, you're going. Well, I want to make sure if I'm being heard that I'm telling the truth and being accurate. I think I know what happened to the kids. I pieced a lot of information together from both sides, and I talked to a lot of people I know. And I think the kids, they never went into the woods, that's for sure. And I think they were, at least for a while. I hope they still are. I think they were for a while. Another little fact here. I'll tell you another little fact. Now that I've told you that Malaya wanted out of there. But anyway, Malaya and Daniel practically lived together at my cousin's place for quite a while, over a year and a half before they moved to the trailer in Truro. They lived in Truro before they moved to the trailer in Lansdowne. Daniel would commute from there to the mill job. So it wasn't, they were together quite a while before that too, like before they went to Lansdowne. Whether that makes any difference or not. Yeah, I think they've lived in the trailer for almost 3 years. And I think they were together a year and a half or two before that. But anyway, that's maybe not that long, but anyway, what listen, I'd like to see the public to put a lot of pressure on the Mounties to open up, because they don't seem to be getting anywhere. And I mean, I've talked to some of them around here, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't think they're all that competent. I mean, we've had missing people around here. Jesus Christ, we just had a woman missing, an Alzheimer's patient, and people were seeing her around the community here, and they found her car and everything where she walked out of her car, and that was a year ago. They never found her yet. Jesus, I don't think they could find their own boots to tie them themselves. But I think there's a lot of incompetent people in the Mounties. But anyway. Well, I don't know. I just like to see. I like to see you push the public to push the Mounties to open it up. Put some pressure on. Put some pressure on.
Dahlia.
Okay, people were saying they couldn't hear me. I was muted.
Yeah.
You could hear me. They just couldn't hear me out there. So everybody should hear me now. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the internet has done is put a little bit of pressure on them. And that's why they gave the releases that they have, because usually most Canadians that call in say they don't never usually release nothing in Canada. Not until it's over.
They're not releasing anything now for weeks, and they just seem like a bunch of amateurs, if you ask me. I'm sick of it. I mean, they don't seem to be. I mean, these are two little goddamn kids. What's the deal? Let's get things rolling. Let's get some pressure going. Let's get some fires lit. Jesus Christ! I mean, I have a couple things I'm going to try to do to get more information, and I'm going to offend some of my family members. That's what I'm going to do, but I really don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, definitely hit me back and let me know how all that goes, and I appreciate you sharing the information you have shared with us.
Well, I think that's about all I can share. There's a couple little interesting, probably some more, but
yeah. Well, just stay tuned, and as you know, we're going to cover this case, and we usually stick with cases till the end, till there's some resolve in it. I've been talking about a little girl you see on the screen for 4 years, and we ain't giving up on her. We don't. There ain't no quitting us. We want answers, and we want justice.
What are we? The big money we're paying these cops for? What are they accomplishing other than goddamn traffic tickets and bullshit? I mean, when it comes to something important like this, the first thing they do is put an ad in the paper seeking the public's help.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, come on, boy.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, they say it takes a village to raise a kid. It also takes a village to find a child.
That's what I think. And the second day I started saying, they should let the public. There was thousands of people around here in the community wanting to go search for those kids.
Mm-hmm.
They should have let the public roll right in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is some dangers in that. You know what I'm saying? But if what they need to do is let put the public in groups with professional searchers, and that way, if somebody goes out there, because there's a chance, you get out there and get hurt, and now they're looking for you. That's where it gets a little sketchy.
Yeah, well, there's the destroying evidence bullshit too, but I mean, there's people hunting and fishing and everything else all through the woods here in Nova Scotia.
Yeah,
there's people here all the time anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't go along with that. And as far as people getting hurt, well, we're adults. If we go in the woods looking for a goddamn kid and we get hurt, we're at it. We made that decision ourselves. We don't have to be responsible for somebody else worrying about whether you.
I've done it. I used to go out in the woods and search by myself, and a lot of, especially in Tennessee, which ain't just kind of similar to Nova Scotia. It's wooded, mountains, rough terrain. And people be like,
"Oh, I was down in Carolina, and I loved it. I'd love to go to Tennessee. My woman would love to go to Tennessee."
Yeah, and people are like, "Look, man, we."
Okay, so we're gonna stop that there because that's pretty much good enough on there. So I do want to first and foremost say hi, Lauren. Welcome to the live for the third time.
Thank you.
Okay. So Dolly had a relative. So basically, Malaya's grandmother. This would be her cousin to the side. That called into Dolly's show. Now, I want to say this to everyone first and foremost. There is 260 people in here, and there is only like 68 likes. Please, again, never do it for the channel's sake. Please do it for Jack and Lily and any of the missing and murdered. So if you guys could do that, Belinda, the grandmother, and this channel has provided a ton of information with regards to Daniel's chats to bring you guys information. As best as we can. And then this person right here, don't knock it when somebody's talking, you guys, meaning when Malaya's grandmother's cousin, Daniel, knows Daniel from working. Never knock it when somebody is talking, regardless. All information is good information. It adds more for insight to this case. So when I've seen some people in chat and stuff like that, like, I can't listen to this. Well, I'm telling you now, all information that's coming from family members is good information. Okay. You get more insight. There's some nice he was coming in and he was telling a lot of things that Daniel said. So obviously they talk, right? Like he said, but there's some tidbits, like he confirmed, like that Malaya wanted out of there, right? And he said that that's fact. But just never knock it, guys, because that's the best info you're going to get is from the family. You ain't going to get it from the RCMP until they do an update of some sort. So trust me, when they're talking, I'm listening. Why? I want every darn detail that's coming out of everyone's mouths. Daniel's, Malaya's, family members, absolutely. Or if they're making posts. So again, it's more insight, more knowledge than you had yesterday for sure, or earlier this morning. So as for Dolly, I'm glad that like Dolly has an open line, right? In the US it's so easy to do that, like to get an open line and da 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 da. I wish it was as easy here. I remember me and Aspen looking at it, but bottom line is that the awareness is in Canada for this case, and it was taken over by the internet at the start. Now it's dwindling. Now in the US, you know, a lot of channels have gone back to Karen Reed and all those other channels and doing little, like, less and less updates on this case. So Dolly's in the United States. He has a nice little following going on there. So it's good. It's good to push the story out to the US. The whole point is awareness. It's not about selfishness on Canada's side or the US or who's covering it. As long as people are covering it, that's what the family is asking for. The people that had nothing or no knowledge of what happened to Lily and Jack. So good on this guy for calling into Dolly. Again, for me, I'm just taking the information. We all know Dolly admitted about the clickbait, stuff like that. You know, it's a twofold, really. I mean, I get what he's saying. I'm not a clickbait person myself, and the guy kind of said like knock that off. But I also understand by the same token that people click on stuff that is clickbait. You guys do it all the time. I've done it, and at the end of the day, does it bring awareness? Does it bring more awareness to the case? Absolutely. The thumbnails might piss me off, and they might piss you off, but at the end of the day, I'm all down for knowledge for that. So we'll come back around to that. So Lauren here. She was on our live. Astro by Lauren is her channel, and I posted it, and I'll post it again. Okay, so Lauren was talking about Malaya and Daniel's Astro charts the other day, and a lot of people really thought that, you know, Lauren was hitting the nail on the head. Sharmain felt intrigued by Lauren, and she's like, Sonny, she goes, I'm intriguing, you know, like, I wonder if Lauren will do the thing. And I was like, okay, well, count me in too. I've never had one done. So Lauren, appreciate the fact that you're going to do this tonight. You're going to do Sharmain first, and then you're going to do me. So go ahead. Well, first of all, Sharmain, we'll come back to Jack and Lily, but is there anything that you quickly wanted to say about this before we go over to Lauren?
No, we can move along and come back to it later.
Perfect.
Okay.
Lauren, go ahead and tell people about yourself, if you don't mind, about what you do and what you're going to be doing today.
Excellent. Well, you know, my name is Lauren McBride, Astro by Lauren. I'm an astrologer and a tarot card reader, based out of Philadelphia. I did hear you say near Alabama. It's so funny. Atlanta is near Alabama. Atlanta is right next to Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia, and Alabama are right next to each other. And I did grow up in Georgia, so you were totally right.
Okay, I was on that side of the planet at least.
Yeah, just like over there. Yeah. That I live in Philadelphia now, which is like about 2 hours outside and 2 hours away from New York. It's a very large city too, but just for some context. And I'm so excited to do this. Oh, I did set up so I know that we were I know that my prices are kind of high, you guys, but I wanted to offer a very good discount to the group. So I'll put it in the chat. But it's a 50% discount just for this week.
That's
just
sweet
for y'all.
Because there was somebody that was messaging me and goes, the price is too high. And I said, well, maybe we should ask Lauren for a code.
Oh, no, it's just special for you guys. Here, I'm going to drop it in the
thank you. Now,
it's just special for you guys because I've been on the local news several times. Like, I've been on different platforms. Thank you. But this platform was so engaged, like immediately. Like I have people find me on Facebook, like people are following me here. And I'm like, wow, like I'm not Canadian and I've actually never been in Vancouver, even though my family has, and they love it. My dad, rest in peace, he loved Vancouver, and my brothers and stuff, they all have been out there. But I've only been in Seattle, which is like not the same, I don't think. But but I was like, are these my people? I was like, let me find out that my actual people are in Western Canada and Alberta, which is
Yes.
Central, right? Is it? I don't know. I know they have the Olympics there, though. I do know that. So, but I was like, wow, I really found my people. This is crazy. So I wanted to offer this discount, which is quite steep, but we have to account for the exchange rate and then like what a normal discount would be, which would be like maybe
Right. Now,
25%, something like that. So yeah.
I was going to say, so when you said that, by the way,
Mhm.
so in order for you to drop, how are you doing it, to drop a link or something, or what were you doing? Because obviously,
Oh,
in order for you to drop a link, or if you're doing that, I have to mod you up. So,
oh, okay. I tried to drop a comment that had all the information in it,
okay.
but maybe it
So
didn't work. You want me to put it in the email? You want me
no,
to email you?
what I'll do is I'll just simply mod you up if you want, and then you can drop it.
Okay.
Okay. So actually,
So I'll type it now.
can you just say hi in the chat room?
Oh, okay. Let me go
Thank you.
back into, no problem.
Steph, she says, I was stalking your website today, just couldn't afford it. I can
Oh,
afford 50% off.
good. That's why I was like, I'm gonna offer this. It's just for like the next 7 days, and just
Okay,
if you're
perfect.
able to do it, yeah, I just really want to do something, and I'm always willing to work on a sliding scale. Honestly, it's just like my prices. They're the industry standard. They're actually low for the industry standard, and it keeps the riffraff out. But I'm happy to work
True.
on a sliding scale because yeah, there were
I've
times
never
when.
had one before myself, and it was kind
Mhm.
of like, well, if Charmaine's doing one, I want one too.
Oh, I think you're gonna love it. Oh
So
wait, you're
you
now
have
a
mod
standard
rights now?
moderator. Oh,
Yeah.
exciting.
You
Okay.
got a rent.
It's me. I made it, y'all. I made it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. And then if I guess you have your mods that like drop my YouTube. If they could put this as like the repeating comment, you know how they repeat the comment?
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
they could do that.
Absolutely.
And then that way people won't forget. Okay,
Sharon,
so
1 second. Sharon, can you love me and do that, please? Sharon. Do,
ACS 50,
do,
yeah,
do.
ACS 50.
And let me just go 1 second here. Astro by Lauren, copy.
Oh, thanks, Sharmain. I see you in here.
Okay.
And yeah, and if for some reason you missed that window, but you're from A Crime and Shame and you still want a reading, just hit me up. Like I said, I will work with you. And if you're in the US, then this is like your lucky week. You really lucked up because you can still use the code because it's here. It's public. So good work. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Because yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to make
Okay.
that accessible. Okay, so we are going to be doing birth chart readings for Sunny and Charmaine. I'm really excited to do this. Basically, I'm a moderator now. So I want to send you a picture. Can I send that in the chat?
Sure. You can just hit share screen, and I can pull it up, put it up.
Oh, okay. Because you probably
Present.
what is
Present.
it?
Present on your screen. It'll say present along the bottom.
Okay, because I want to put the charts up just so you can see what it looks like what I'm reading.
Sure.
So you said present. So I'm doing this on my phone. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at the chart. And if I'm looking up, I'm looking at the iPad. Just so
Okay.
you know. Okay, so wait. Present. No, I don't know. I don't think I can present.
Yeah.
I can just chat. It just says to chat. Is it maybe it's up top
Do you just want
under
to email it to me, and I'll put it up?
Yeah. Okay, I'll email it. Okay.
Sure.
So I'll do Charmaine's and then I'll send yours and then yeah, and then we'll be done. Okay, so I'm gonna send this as a screenshot, but I'm covering up
Sure.
the birth date and stuff. So just
Okay.
hang on. Okay, so this is for Charmaine. Okay. And then let me just do yours and then we'll be ready to get started. Okay, so I do both birth charts and cards. So we do them together in tandem. So basically, do a birth chart, and then if you have like a pressing question or something you want more info on, then I do a little bit of tarot kind of at the end. Yeah, to get some concrete resolution or information. Okay, so let me send this.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. I have been thinking about. I know exactly what I'm going to say once we do get started. All right, hang on.
I'm still waiting for your email though.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was
okay.
I was screenshotting, and now
My
I'm
bad.
gonna email.
My bad.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you for your patience, group.
No, thank you for doing. Thank you for doing this. Like I said, because like I know that you read, you know, like I know you didn't have their birthdays for Daniel and Malaya and stuff like that. You know, like I said, and a lot of people were very thought that you hit the nail on the head and stuff like that. And so I've never personally had this done. And so yeah, so I'm really excited to see what I've been mediums and cards and but never astrological chart or anything like that.
I've tried to do my own birth chart, but it just got so confusing.
You will love it.
This was way over my head.
It is quite confusing. I will say it took me a long time, like years, to even get my head around it. And the way that I started was, an astrologer did my chart, and then he just sent me books like as gifts and for my birthday and stuff like that. And I didn't even understand the books for the first 2 years. I had to read the books back and forth for a couple years just to get it. It's just a lot of information. But
so first one, Sharmain's, correct?
Yeah. You're right, because I've cropped the names. Yeah. So it's the one that says Alberta.
Right.
This reminds me of that meme where the guy is trying to explain something and there's all these lines and stuff and he's like frustrated, and that's what I looked like when I was trying to. Yeah.
That's literally what it looks like. That's why I wanted to put it up so you guys could just be like, what? Like, what? Okay.
Okay. So do you want me to take the banner off, or should I leave it on or take it off? Would it be? Do you guys want me to take the banner off? Do you want to see it like that? Yeah.
The banner.
When I say banner, I mean this.
Oh. Yeah, maybe.
There I am. Wow.
I guess it depends. I guess put the chart up and just see how it looks with the banner and.
Yeah, it's up. It's up.
This is really? I can't see it.
Oh, it's up. Yep. See.
Oh wow. Okay. Let me look in. Oh, look at that. Okay. Somebody has never been on StreamYard before. That's me. I have definitely live streamed, but only on IG, on Instagram. So that's why I'm like, oh my God, look at that. Okay. I'm here with you. I'm here with you.
So do you prefer the banner off or on?
So put it back on for a second.
It is.
Oh. It doesn't look like it's on. It doesn't matter to me. I can't even see it anyway. I was
going to say, it's okay. So go ahead. So are you going to start with Sharmain now? Okay. All right, you guys. Okay. I'm going to turn my camera off and you do Sharmain.
Okay. So I'm going to do Sharmain. I'm going to be looking down at the chart here because I can't see it up there. And before we get started, I'll just explain that the first thing I'm going to do is just give you an overview of your chart, just what's called your astrological signature, which is sun, moon, and rising sign. And we'll talk about that. You actually have the same rising sign as your sun. So it's a little less to talk about, which is good. And then, yeah, so it's like very straightforward. And then I'm going to talk just a little bit about like your emotional attunement and kind of what I noticed in the chart. And then we can talk more about something if you want, or talk less about it, or if something piques your interest, we can go more into that. And then if you have a question, like a specific question, and you just wanted to use your card reading portion to do that, then we can do that as well. So, so it's multiple things. So the main thing I want to say is that if it doesn't resonate with you, then it's not true. And that's because you would know best. I'm saying it. So I've been told that my vision is like, I can see, it's like if you were a house, I can tell where the house is. I have the architecture, like I know the architecture and the layout of the house, but I can't always see like who's in the house or like how you have the walls decorated, you know, or that kind of thing. And so like I am pretty psychic, but it's not like a psychic reading, it's a reading for you. So anything that you want more information on, I can go deeper into that. So it's really just like as broad or as close up as you would like. And I think that's everything with the disclaimer. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's really cool getting to, oh, and it's going to take about an hour. And if I do get off track, I'm pretty good. If I get off track or something, I'm also good with keeping track of that time as well. But it's going to be about an hour. We're going to start now. So back to you. Sharmain, you are a Taurus sun and you have Taurus rising and you have moon in Aries. Okay. So when you have, the sun is your purpose. It's your entire reason for being in life, which is in Taurus. And your rising sign is like your representative. So it's how people experience you in the world. You have your sun in Taurus right in the front, and that is how people experience you. I know that it might be like, that is Captain Obvious. It's actually not. And some people's suns are like really hidden away. And like those are people that you can't really tell like what their sign is. But you are a very you have a very complex inner world, but in terms of how you present in the world, you are as straightforward as they come. Like people probably meet you and think like they have your number and you're like, you thought, but you don't actually say it because why? Like, you know, but people probably think that like I see straight through you, you know, and that kind of thing. But they also probably trust you. Like you probably have a person that you just meet them, like they just don't hardly know you, and they're like, "Here, take the keys to my house," and you're like, "Why do you trust me?" And so, like, people just trust you for no reason. Now you are trustworthy, but it's just amusing how much they trust you because you don't trust them. So it's just like, it's like you're better than me. I'm glad you trust me. I'm glad somebody trusts somebody here because it's not me. But you don't say it that out loud. So you're very straightforward in that way. The sun also represents the father and the moon represents the mother. So to have the sun in the first house, I do remember you saying, so I know it seems like I just clock everything you guys say on here. It's just I listen to it in the background and I just have like a little photographic memory for certain things. And I know that you mentioned that you didn't grow up with your dad, right?
Correct.
Right. You probably look a lot like him though. You probably look just like your dad and think just like your mom. So like your thought process is just like your mom. You probably look just like your dad. And you also probably have the very best qualities of your father. So my son grew up without his dad, like literally met his dad like one good time, just to give you some context. And he has so many qualities of his dad that are so positive. And it's crazy because his dad is like was not there, so he's not that positive, you know, but he does have some really great qualities, and your father does too. So whether you know him or knew him, it doesn't matter. You have like the best of what he had to offer the world, which is good in that way. Also, sun in Taurus, this person, you are a person who is extremely extremely practical. So like I said, you have a very complicated inner world, but it doesn't keep you from being practical here in the real world. So that is kind of the utmost importance. Like Taurus loves security, but just spoiler alert, you also have moon in Aries and Mars in Cancer. And those are the two that are like always having like a little fight and conversation with each other all the time. But your sun is like, cool out. We don't want to make any extra work for ourselves, and we also don't want to threaten our security. So if y'all could just like shut it, that would be great. Like your sun is like they're mediating like the inner world or whatever. And again, there's people that literally have no idea. Like there's people you probably see every single day that have no idea that you are like a true crime fanatic pod person. Like they probably just have no. And they never will, you know.
That's right.
Like they would never figure it out, and they never will, because it's not for them to know. But it's very clear from your chart why this is of interest to you. So yeah, so there's people that just experience you every day, and they just think that. I think you said your dad was First Nations, right? Did you say your dad was First Nations? So do people presume that of you sometimes?
I would say, I mean, if I bring it up, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I knew that," but I've never had somebody, ask me
But
if
they
I
don't
was
ask.
Native, but they do acknowledge that. Oh yeah, I can tell high cheekbones, whatever. Like they,
Once you tell them and you're like, that's only because I told you. But it's really because you
yeah,
do look it, but they're just not sure because you are I'm mixed too. So this is because you are mixed, like they're like,
yes,
maybe, no, I don't
yes,
know.
and they
Who
don't want
knows?
to offend me or whatever. But yeah, exactly.
Correct. Yeah. So people just probably think you are just the most Canadian to ever have Canadian, and that's it. They just think you're just Charmaine from are you from Vancouver or from Alberta?
Alberta.
Yeah, they're just like, it's just Charmaine from Alberta. They just think you're the most regular person. They don't know that you moonlight as like a true crime, like connoisseur and queen pen and all
Yeah,
this stuff. Yeah. Which probably works out really well for you. So that means like they probably love you on the job, whatever job you're on. And the other thing is tourists will work hard, but only as hard as they need to get whatever done and to get people off their back. So
that's
because
crazy.
tourists would prefer to just not work at all, but they want
Yeah.
security, so they will work. Okay. So the reason why what do I want to talk about next? So you have your moon is in Aries. So Aries is like the god of war. So if you looked up your chart, it probably was saying something about how you have a warrior spirit and you get angry really easily or something like that. Um and but then you also have Venus in the so your moon and your Venus, they're both in the 12th house. Okay, so the moon represents the mother. That's why I said that you probably think a lot like your mom because the 12th house. Oh, so the houses are the oh yeah, y'all can see it. So you see how it's a circle and then it has the triangles. It's like a pizza pie or like a pie, how it's like sliced into. Um
Yes.
the different slices are what's called houses. So imagine them as like different rooms, actually different rooms in a house. So they're different realms of experience. So the 12th house, which is where your moon resides, where it lives, is like your subconscious mind. And so that's why I said you have a really rich inner world because the moon represents what you need to feel secure, emotionally secure. It's what you need emotionally. And then Venus, which is another planet you have there with your moon, is in the 12th house as well. And that is what you value, is what you love. So the moon is what you need, and Venus is what you love, and yours are the same. So it's just the same thing as like your sun and your rising sign are the same. What you love and what you need are the same. And that's also not something that everybody has. But it is hidden away in this 12th house. So it's also something that everybody knows. So there's like so Aries is like extremely impatient. And when I see someone that's got an Aries placements like this that are kind of locked away, it sometimes can create like a little bit of anxiety within them because they can't like do what they want or express things how
Mhm.
they want outwardly. And so for you it might be like that it's either not appropriate or so I was thinking about it and I was like, you probably either came out the womb. Okay, so depending on how you were raised, you either came out the womb like the perfect, like Susie homemaker, help your mom with whatever she needed and very obedient, or you were like like you were a baby that just cried for like 6 hours at a time, stuff like that, or maybe both. I was like, it might be both.
No,
um
it's the latter for sure.
it's yeah. So I was like, because a
Yes.
lot of times when people are kids, they are their moon sign, and then they grow into their sun sign. So I was like, this kid could have been a handful to the point where, again, people in your present day life would just never know, but your mom knows very well. So, that is it. Also, okay. So again, not growing up, um with your dad, you can usually tell like how the sun and the moon, how do they relate in the chart. And yours are just like not, they're just like missing they're not like ships in the night. It's not even like they don't get along. They just not even along. Like they're just not even in the same place. Like they're just, when one of them is ruled by Venus, which is your son, which is your dad. The other one is ruled by Mars. So it could have been it really could have been anything. But yeah, your mom is more like the get it done type. Your mom's gonna get it done, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so let's see. Oh, I'm not okay. I cannot. I don't know if Sunny told you, but I'll start reading the comments and then I'll just stop doing. I'll stop talking. It's the ADHD of it all. So let me focus. Okay. All right. So yeah. So your mom. Yeah, your mom's a special case. Probably quite beautiful, such as you. Oh, that's the other thing. Having Sun in Taurus in the first house and then Venus in Aries, you probably like, I woke up like this just your whole life because you don't have time to like paint your nails or be doing a lot with your hair or makeup. Like you don't even have time for that, but you are quite beautiful. And you probably always been like that effortlessly. And people are like, it's not fair. Like, why? You don't have to do anything and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, it's true. I wouldn't because nobody has time for that. But you just happen to have certain attributes that you can wake up like this kind of thing with the beauty. So yay, go you. But usually like nice hair, nice teeth. That's like Taurus business. But yeah, but you're definitely not like a high maintenance. You're not high maintenance, but you also don't have to be. But you don't have patience. You were like, I would die before I do that. That would never happen. So yeah, so your mom is a special case. Did y'all get along or
Well, no, well, my mom, no. She raised me. I still talk to her to this day, but I've always thought of my mom as a darker spirit. You know, she's not the nurturing mother that everybody pictures her. You know, I always think like everybody gets along great with their mom. Their moms are so sweet. My mom just wasn't that. She never has been and never will be. It's not like we didn't get along. We butt heads when I was a teenager. Right. She just wasn't a very mom's mom. Do you know what I mean? She was more like a buddy or, you know, a buddy that was a bully at the same time. Just no.
Yeah, you like a buddy that would try to tell you what to do all the time. Yeah, I can see that. Exactly. So so I think that you do share, like there are certain values that you share with her, but yeah, she doesn't seem very, very cuddly. And of course, this is probably due to her own upbringing and circumstances outside of her control and all of that. So, okay. So 2 other planets you have are Mercury. Mercury is how you communicate. And your Mercury is in Gemini, which is a really strong placement. So Mercury in Gemini is square to Jupiter in Pisces. So it's funny because Sunny has a placement like this too. But even if you don't talk a lot, like during the day, like there's a reason you have a podcast and like while you're on this channel doing like true crime, like because you have the need or the compulsion to communicate to large groups of people about very important things that are important to the world as a whole, like not to speak on yourself, but to things that are important. And in this case, being an advocate, you know, for the voiceless, the murder and the missing in that way too. And that's right there in your chart. It's like a really big part of your value system and you're very good at it. And so that is why you do it. But like I said, it resides kind of like in a different part of your life than people that experience you on a daily basis, which is why they wouldn't know. It's not even like it's a secret. It's like, I mean, they might know, but there's just no reason for them to know, especially if there's a task you need to get done and you only see people during the day when you need to get that task done because you're just trying to get that done. You're not trying to like talk about it. Like you're just like, I don't, need to talk to you about it. So then you have Mars, which is it's actually at the bottom of your chart. It's technically in the third house, but it's in the fourth house, which is the house of but it's very close to the fourth house, which is the house of home, family of origin. And you have Moon square Mars, which means that there is probably a streak of anger that your family has experienced from you that people outside of your family have not experienced from you. And so it's like a totally different person, but it's not a different person. It is the same person. It's just that Cancer placements, and we'll get into this with Sunny, it's like it's deeply personal. It's very protective. So you're probably very, very protective of your family. Even if, because I know you said you have a daughter, right? Do you have a daughter?
2.
You have 2, yeah. And you probably like, I will fight for them. I will kill for them. But you don't. Again, you're not gonna like say it. You're not gonna say it unless you need to say it, and when you do, you really mean it. Unless you were always discouraged from stepping into that power as well. Because I was thinking a lot about this. I have experienced abusive relationships, not emotional abuse, like on a very high level. I know that you mentioned this. I know that Sunny has mentioned this, and I think that it has to do with having a lot of power at your disposal, but not trying to flex it. So the people that are seeking out that power, they just get off on like being able to try to control you when they don't understand that like the only reason you're there is because you chose to be there. And the only reason you don't act out in that kind of aggression unless you need to. Whereas like the abuser needs that to like feel okay or whatever. It's like they, whatever they're doing. So, so I was thinking you have a lot of power, and you probably like, I'm not saying that you watch wrestling or anything, but you probably like, if someone's getting their ass whipped, you're like, they needed their ass whipped. You're like, good for them. You're like, standing ovation, need that. You're like, yes, please do that. Because you understand, like you get it. You're not saying that violence is the answer, but it can be very effective. Sometimes you feel like, so, that, but it's not that it's not that you even play that out in real life. It's just, you totally get it. And in fact, with the moon in the 12th house in Aries, you're probably like road rage, but like in your mind. Like, so I don't think that you're just out here raging out. I don't think you're just raging out with the general population, but you get it, and you kind of like fantasize. Like you fantasize about it a little bit, like just a little bit. You're like, if I would do this,
100%.
or
I
lie.
do. I totally do.
You're like,
I
or
totally
lie.
do.
Yeah. And it's better, but again, you value your peace and security, stability over that. So you're not going to just crash out for no reason, you're just not going to do it, but you understand. That's all. That's kind of, and because you do have that good communication, like you can usually navigate yourself out of if you're deep in that mindset, you can bring yourself out of it, and then you're very grounded. Oh yeah, so Taurus is an earth sign, I'm sure you know that. So you are double earth, super grounded. So again, when you were a kid, you were probably like way more out there because of the moon. The moon is like, it's just like you can't help but be that way. And so when you're a kid, you maybe hadn't had it mastered, but I'm sure that you have it mastered now. And again, it's just about people like kind of underestimating you, but it works to your advantage though. I just keep seeing you like in work situations, and it's just such a good look. And I only say that because like you are a very unusual person, but you don't give off unusual vibes, which is so you're not raising anybody's alarms. So and that's why people trusting you. You know what I mean? Which will really help you get on in the world, I feel like. So, yeah. So there's that. But in terms of but yeah, I was thinking about that abuse thing, and I was like, they really do seek out a lot of times, like some of the more powerful, those of us who are like more powerful, but are not. Again, about being a bully, like you said, your mom's like sort of like a friend, but it's kind of like a bully. Like you are probably made a point to be not a bully. Like that's your point. Now,
100%.
could you be a bully? Absolutely, but why would you do that? So that's the thing. It's like the bullies are like, "Oh, I have to do it because I have to be this way." Like, no, it doesn't, and you know that. You know what I mean?
I actually went through a thing in high school where I would purposely bully the bullies. Right when I saw somebody be bullied, I would attack them.
Wow.
I mean, I got over that, but that
yeah, you were
I
a
made
bully
a point of it.
avenger. You were like,
That's
yeah,
right.
this ends today. You're like, you're like,
Right.
then you would just get into wow. So you would just get into fights that weren't even your fight. You're like, I can handle this. He's like, I'll handle this. Wow,
Yeah.
that is actually really cool. So, okay, so Mars and Cancer. Oh yeah, so if you're not raging out in your mind or raging out in real life, you're also can be super protective. You might be prone to like the silent treatment, or you'll be talking but you won't be actually saying. So you'll be like, I'm not shutting you down, I'm talking, but you're not, and you know that. So that's just wanted to point that out. So you do shut people down, but you appear to not be shutting them down. So good on you. Like tricky but cool. Okay, so that's pretty much the main gist of your personality, because it's just very it's a very straightforward. It's just very, very straightforward. I know that some people don't want to always ask me about like love and stuff like that, but do you want me to talk about your ideal partner or not really? Or you're like, I know my ideal partner or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I went for so long not even caring about who my ideal partner was. I was just done and over with. I'm kind of like a YOLO right now. I'm 51, so no matter what, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So the person that I'm with now, for now, he's ideal and it's great. So that's not really something that I care to put in my head. Like if I start wondering who my ideal person is, then I start measuring Ian up to that person, and if he doesn't meet, then what's it going to do to my head? And I just rather not. You know what I mean? So no.
Yes. No, I'm just laughing because you're like, why would I do that? Again, this gets back to the Taurus thing. It's people might be even underestimate your intelligence sometimes, because it's like, well, they'll be like, well, why don't you want to know? But the point is, but I already knew the question would be, what good is is it going, like, is there a point? No. Okay, I'm good. I am not curious.
Exactly. I say that more times than not during the day, but why? Why would I want to do that? Or why should I know that? Or why? Just why? Tell me why and I'll consider it. Otherwise, no.
Yeah, and then people are probably like, why don't you care? And you're like, but the question is, why do you care? And that's why, just to talk about the channel for a minute, the fact that people just it's like this with me too. People accusing you of like making up stories or like lying. It's probably like, it's laughable. It's laughable for a lot of people, but for you, it's probably like astronomically like it's just another next level of laughable and wrong. So,
well, it is like if somebody questions my integrity or thinks I'm lying about something and I'm not, it just that's one of the things that will set me off. That will set me off. And not that I want to. It's not about my ego. It's just about, you don't know me. Because like you said earlier, even people that think they have me pegged, I can think of 2, maybe 3 people on the planet who know me. Everybody else knows a version of me. So when somebody, if they don't believe me or they're thinking that I'm making tall tales or something, that sets me off, because I have absolutely no desire, no energy, and no reason to make shit up anymore. Like I'm 51, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure in my life I've done it, but not at this point in my life. Like,
like, why would I do that? And also, why would I need to explain it to you? So that's the thing. You're not a Cancer, but you do have Cancer sensibilities and sometimes Cancer behavior, which gets into that thing. Oh yeah, you weren't here, or maybe you heard it. But yeah, Cancer is like, y'all have a list of people. If you're on the list, then you're good. We trust you. You're in this inner circle. But if you're off the list, like, I literally don't care. It's not that y'all don't care. It's just like, you really just have your close people and that's it. And other people, like, just literally do not matter to you. But I think it would be impossible for somebody who knows you casually to know you unless you allowed them, because you have your moon, your emotional attunement, that's in your subconscious, and then it's in Aries, so it's also raging half the time, so you're definitely not going to share that with them. And then you have Mars in Cancer, which is like anger and sex and like action, work and stuff like that. But Cancer is super self-protective as well. And I did mention this to Sunny too. So Cancer, imagine like the moon is a rock that reflects the light of the sun, and so Cancer like reflects the light of the people around them, but like the dark side of the moon is like how cold a Cancer can get. That's why I was saying that you could have the propensity to shut people down when you absolutely need to, but again, we're talking about in like close personal relationships, because it would not, nobody would be important enough for you to do all that if they weren't close to you. So like, it doesn't matter. So there's that. Let's see. Well, Venus is in Taurus presently. So the way that they write horoscopes is all the planets are moving all of the time. So this picture, this circle, is a snapshot of the planets the day that you were born, but the planets are all moving all the time. So when you read a horoscope, you usually want to read for your sun and your rising sign, but your sun and your rising sign are the same. And so you probably do find horoscopes to be pretty accurate when you read them, because they're both congruent. Again, like most people have 3 different kind of rotations going on, but you only have 2. And the Aries one is just in your inner world. So you can read for Taurus and find it to be pretty accurate. But you have Venus that's about to cross your ascendant. So not to be like the magic 8 ball, but like the next couple of days, like next like week or 2 should be pretty good on you. Venus is your ruling planet. Venus is Taurus is ruled by Venus. So Venus is about beauty and about harmony. And Venus in Taurus is about tactile goods, like the warm drinks when it's cold and cold drinks when it's warm, and comfort. And you are a person between the Taurus and the Cancer who really values your comfort is a high. It is
very important to me.
High importance. So there's emotional safety you need, but also there's physical comfort. And so do you have a comfortable home? I don't know. See, because the thing is that your moon and your home placements are in. So basically Mars, which is what you do, and like I said, it's like anger and action, is in the moon sign, and your moon is in the Mars sign. So what I mean is that they're switched. So a lot of times, like, Tauruses have really well kept, comfortable homes, but you also might be like, that's not practical and I don't have time for that. So I don't know which one that you are, but as long as you are comfortable. But I don't know if it's necessarily like that everyone's comfortable in your home, or if it's just for you. So if it's like this thing where everyone in your house is like, I am so cold, please turn the heat on. And you're like, I am fine, and this is my house. That's like a little bit more on brand. Not that you don't care, because you do, but it's just kind of like, you gonna say something?
I feel like you're getting somewhere, because I need structure. I need comfort. I need all of these things. And presently, for the last year, I have a room in Fox Creek. I have a room in Lethbridge. I have an apartment in the Shuswap. We're building a house in Salmon Arm. And there was an apartment in Slave Lake. My shit is everywhere, and it drives me crazy on the daily. So my house is usually clean and organized, but
is it making you feel absolutely crazy?
nuts, like nuts to the point where I'm losing sleep over it. Like it's driving me nuts. So I feel like you were probably picking something like that up. But that's what's going on. Like the 6 homes of Sharmain, and not one of them is complete yet. So, yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, I wasn't, because I was just picking up that it was I guess we would say results are undetermined. I was like, it's unclear. It could be one of many things, because some people, it's just like very clear, like that they probably have the best house ever. But for you, again, it's really just about the comfort. So it's not that, oh, you have these things that everybody would want. You have these things that you would want. So it's not like these 6 houses that you have are not nice. They're probably all nice in their own way, but they don't all have. It might be like, okay, oh, I needed this, but I left it over there, and now I can't get that, and now how am I going to get through the night because I needed, and that kind of thing. And yeah, that's also about Taurus values, like stability. With the Mars in Cancer, just be careful that you don't expect people to read your mind. Now, you are pretty straightforward, and you probably are pretty predictable to the 3 people that know you, or whatever, how many, the 1.5 people that do know you. But don't get angry, like, if they can't figure it out. Because Cancer sometimes would just like not say it, and then be upset, like, that you're not a mind reader. So just be wary of that a little bit. But yeah, I can see how all that movement, but you're doing it, I'm sure, for a reason. Like there is security on the horizon. So there's a reason why you're doing all of these things, and you're like, I just have to fucking do it because I'm trying to get to the security castle at the end of this road, or whatever. And that's how Taurus is. Like Taurus will work very hard. So, I mean, some would say Taurus is lazy. Taurus isn't lazy. Again, they just like to conserve their energy all the time. And you're just not going to be doing any more than what you need to do. But if you have to do a lot, you will do the things. That's why. So I'm sure that this 6 houses thing is not something you're doing for fun. I'm sure it's a means to an end. And it makes the most sense to be going through this now for this goal at the end. Whereas, like, believe it or not, there are other people that just love to be bi-coastal and have rooms everywhere, and just be that is like so not even your thing. So just know it's not you, and yeah, just think of it as like it is your little. I mean, you already said it. It's your emotional need to feel this comfort. So even if it doesn't seem practical, maybe if it's like if you're in this one place. Because I know you've been on the lives, like, oh, Sharmain is driving. She drove 16 hours a day, or like something. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but it might not seem practical to be like, I already have this at this one house, so I don't need to buy another. But yeah, maybe you should if you can swing it, because it's just to get you through. It's like you normally would not. But I'm team doing the most, so I normally would. So I would do that just if I lost it in my own house, just the one house. So I'll get a second of whatever. So just know there are other more frivolous people out here that are happy to buy 2 of the same thing. So don't be too hard on yourself, because it's a very difficult circumstance for you. It's an exceptionally difficult circumstance for you. And that's it. And that's fair. You know what I mean? So you might have to like act outside of yourself to get yourself through this. Not that you need to come over to doing the most land. I mean, it's fun over here doing the most, but like you can be a little bit impractical if it's gonna get you through hump or whatever you need to get through to get to where you're going, you know. Just I mean, advice is advice is cheap. I'm just putting it out there. Because I don't even know what the situation is. So yeah. So do you have any questions so far?
So far, no, I think you're very accurate. Very, very accurate. Surprisingly accurate.
Oh, good. That's exciting. Oh, actually, so oh yeah, Aries, I forgot about this. Sorry. So my friend my friends were like, you have to stop doing that thing where you're like, oh gosh, and then start laughing and then don't say what it is. So my best friend is Aries and her partner is an Aries as well. So that's why I said, oh, Aries, I forgot about this. You do have like right now, Chiron is transiting your moon and your Venus, and it's in your 12th house, which is the wounded healer. So part of the reason why you're going through whatever this transition is that you're going through is to be able to heal something that's maybe been a thorn in your side for your whole life. And it could be that this circumstance is forcing you to confront this because, as we discussed, why would you do something like that for fun? So like whatever it is that you're needing to confront, you're like, why would I choose discomfort when I could just choose comfort? You know, but now if you're in a situation where you don't have a choice, you can feel rest assured in knowing that you there is a purpose. I don't know what your beliefs are spiritually, so this could be like too woo, it could be like way woo or whatever, but there is a higher purpose for this particular struggle. And luckily, and again, it's like letting yourself off the hook because everybody's pain is their pain, you know? So even if it's like this thing where if you said you're building a house, so some people would say, well, you're building a house. Like, you should be thankful that you get to do blah, 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 and that you have this in your life. And it's like, it doesn't matter, like, what you think about the experience that I'm going through. Like, yes, I am thankful, but I'm still deeply uncomfortable, you know, and that kind of thing. So it's just kind of like everybody's pain is their pain. So whatever discomfort you're going through, it might not be uncomfortable to other people, but it's not other people's like evolutionary lessons to learn. It's your evolutionary lesson to learn,
Right.
you know? So, and especially as we get up there, like I'm not 51, but I'm gaining on you, you know, I'm right behind you, watch out. Okay. So, and I mean, once we get up here in age, like sometimes we're not as flexible and malleable. And your chart, you were probably never that flexible or malleable. So you're probably literally not even flexible, like stretching. Like you're probably not even like,
no,
not even a little bit. Yeah. So so the only thing flexible you have is in your mind, and even that you have such sound reasoning that you're only flexible in what, like, you're smart enough to seek out the information, but you're not flexible like somebody else is helping you change your mind. Like that's not a thing. That's not that's not gonna happen.
no.
Yeah, so sometimes it just takes like an extreme level of adversity to cause you to have to be flexible. And even though it doesn't sound like you're going through adversity, it is adverse to you. So
Right.
consider it a growing a chance
Oh,
to
I'm
grow.
learning every day. Yeah.
You're like every single day. As a
Every day.
matter of fact, like it's like what is it say? Oh, God doesn't give you more than you could bear, and you're like, I get it, God, I get it, I totally get it.
Yeah.
I'm good. I can't.
Got the message.
Yeah, I got the message. I don't want to be your toughest soldier or whatever the saying is. So, yeah. Okay. So we have about 20 minutes. So do you want to do a tarot portion?
Sure.
Okay, so do you know what you would like to do a tarot about? And it's okay if you don't.
Like for me or just...
Oh, yeah. Oh, did you want to do a crime? Yeah, no, we don't want to do true crime tarot. Is that what you mean?
Just can you do like a general one? Like, am I,
Oh yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter at this point if I'm on the right path or not. I'm here and that's the way I'm going. But do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but
I don't know.
It does matter. For you, it matters that your mindset is on the right track. Because if you can believe it, you can achieve it. So we can just say, for Sharmain, do we want to say the next 3 months or the next 6 months, or
Go 6, because I want to know.
to the end of the year?
Yeah.
So what does Sharmain need to know between now and the end of the year? Or is she on the right path? Or what can she focus on? Do you want to something like that?
Focus on the comfort, the home, the security, am I still going to have to move 6 times a year next year?
You're not going to have to. Actually, let me look at your astrology for that. Oh, actually, no, you're literally not. So here's some good news. Let me just give you some astrology good news right quick. So Uranus is the great disruptor. Okay. It is you might have been listening to the live stream, but somebody was asking about it, and they were like, what if my ruling planet is Uranus? Like, that would be really shitty. And like, I'm so slow. I was like, yeah, Uranus is a great disruptor. So you're probably an Aquarius. Like, so I was like going into this whole thing about what it means. And he was like, I can't even believe she went for it, but I will, because I'm gullible. But back to you. So Uranus, or Uranus, depending on who you are, it is an outer planet, and it actually does move quite slow. And it's been going through Taurus for like, I think it's like 12 years or something, but it's almost out. And so all of the planets, they go through, it's 30 degrees for each planet, or it's 29, it's 30 degrees, but 0 is a degree. So it's 0 through 29 for every planet. And so as we're tracking, I put the chart up so you can see what the chart looks like. But if you look closer, it's a lot of numbers. It's like a lot of numbers, and the numbers are how you do all the timing and stuff. So some of my clients even will just plan like timing for the rest of the year, like that kind of thing for business and different things. So it's all kinds of stuff you can use astrology for it. So Uranus has been going through Taurus for years. So it's probably been like disruption in one way or another for like years. But then this past year, it's been directly on your sun. And because you have your sun and your rising sign are all in the same place, when it rains, it pours for things like in your life. And so the height of this influence, Uranus it's actually been this past year. And it retrogrades and then it goes back. So it's probably not even, it probably got really bad and then it got better, and you're like, oh my God, things are a little bit better. And then the universe is like, just kidding. It is not better. It is the same. And you're like, no, like spinning like, no. So the good news is that it's finally out now. So Uranus, people do not like, it's really the planet of genius. So imagine like was it Ben Franklin with the lightning and the electricity? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So imagine Uranus is like that bolt of electricity. It's just that humans do not like change. And especially Taurus humans with Aries moons in the 12th house and Mars in Cancer we do not do that well. And so the Uranus changes are all changes that are kind of outside of your control. So in this case, it's probably in your control, but there's probably like so much that was out of your control and that was unexpected that you just did not expect. So you knew you were going to be doing whatever project you're working on right now, but you didn't know what it was going to require, like to the extent. And there are probably things that happened that made it like even more difficult than it was even ever supposed to be. So yeah, we know you didn't like that. Nobody likes it, but we know you didn't. The height of the influence is actually on its way out. So I actually want to find out when it goes into Gemini, because then I can tell you when it might really just be out. And then we'll do some cards to Gemini. Oh yeah, July. Yeah. And I wanted to just go back.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I think August, it'll be like a whole new world. You'll be like, wow, this is a whole new world. So by August, it takes a minute. It's not going to get anywhere. I'll say it like this. It's not getting any worse. This wraps. It's already done. Whatever. There's no more surprises. There's nothing else that's going to be happening. And so everything else from now is going to be smooth in whatever. Like if it's rocky, like it's rocks, you can see. You're like, I see you. I didn't see you the first time or the second or when I had to go back over you, but now I see you now. So it's like that. So I would say by the end of the summer, you'll be like, my life is just, like how
beautiful.
I made it over. So,
right on to me.
So we'll say, well, what can Sharmain consider for the next 6 months to help her feel more secure and emotionally well in these turbulent times, we'll say. So this this tarot I'm using is called Tarot for Kids. It's literally for kids, but I wanted to get it out because my Taurus clients love it because it's very simple and straightforward and it's not scary. We don't do scary over here. And then I also have an oracle deck called the Woodland Wardens. And so we'll do an oracle card for that. So, okay. It's a 5-card reading, but I'm going to speed read because how much time do we have? Oh, no, we have 52. Oh, no, we have time. Yeah, we have like at least a solid 15 minutes. Okay. So what can Sharmain focus on for the next 6 months to stay sane and emotionally whole in the midst of Uranus, the Great Disruptor? Uranus has been being very shitty and we're over it. And we want to know where can Sharmain go from here. So, yeah. Yeah. So I'm just laying them out here, but I'll hold them up. Oh, oh, okay. Oh, what a cute little reading. Okay, so since we're doing a little bit of speed reading, I usually read from the book, and then I also collect the whole reading together after going through that. So in the past, we have the 7 of Swords. So the 7 of Swords is like, it is, well, this guy is like running off. He's like stealing some swords and running off with them. It's sometimes known as like the thief card, but it's really Mercury and Aquarius. So it really could be like, and this is past, some information that you needed that you couldn't get a hold of through no fault of your own. Or it could have been a literal person being a little bit deceptive, but not like a lot deceptive, just like a little bit deceptive. Or you had to keep your cards close to your chest to get through a situation. So maybe you had to be a little bit deceptive, but not a lot, just like a little bit. So I'll just read what it says. But it's in the past anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Oh, the other thing is, I have done entire readings with people where they have not told me a single thing that's going on in their life, but they still found it beneficial. So as long as it resonates with you, but if I'm ever saying anything that you're like, what are you talking about? Just let me know. So yeah, that's all. So the 7 of Swords. Now this is the tarot for kids, so they keep it cute with all of the definitions in this book.
Perfect.
Yeah, so just so you know. All right. A bold theft. Okay. So I don't know. I'm just gonna read it. I don't know if this really happened. Again, it doesn't always mean a bold theft, but it does in this chart. Have you ever had your cards read before?
No, not my cards. No, I went to one psychic before. Like I read for myself sometimes, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. So.
Oh, you're always doing it right. That's how you learn. I'll just say the question is, have you ever had to do something that felt impossible? And I think that is the message. I can read the rest of it, but I actually think, okay, It warns of theft. Someone tries to steal your belongings or take credit for something you've done. If you catch someone doing something shady, confront them. This is in the past, so don't worry. Confront them or tell an adult. Okay. In some cases, this card might indicate a time when you need to be sneaky. Okay, so this is actually similar to what I was saying. For example, if you're trying to surprise your mom for her birthday, you'll have to fly under the radar. This card could also mean a time when you can pull off a difficult feat. So it sounds like me and the duck we're here. So you know what that means. It's in the past. Do you know what it means?
Yeah,
okay,
I believe so.
If you have any questions, just let me know. All right. So the present, though, you have the Ace of Cups, which is a new beginning of love, but not like romantic love, just any love. So it's like a new inspired feeling. It's really auspicious. It's actually like a really, really positive card. So I don't know if you're just starting to reap the benefits of the work that you've been putting in, for example, and you're just feeling a satisfaction that you haven't felt before, something like that. But it's super auspicious. But let me just see what they say. Open your heart. The beautiful Ace of Cups means that love and friendship are on the way. This could be the beginning of a new relationship or potential best friend or a new crush. Just remember, this is tarot for kids. Be open to meeting someone new. It could turn out to be a meaningful relationship. The Ace of Cups can also signal a gift. You may be receiving or giving a present. And then the question is, what makes you feel happy? So for you, I think that you asked the question, like, how can I stay emotionally well during this time? And so I think that you probably know now more than you ever did. Like you thought you probably know yourself super duper well, but now you probably know yourself like astronomically well, like just things that you didn't even realize you took for granted about yourself, but now you know that even more. So I think this experience has probably really shown you your own priorities in terms of self-care and that type of thing. So good work.
Yeah.
You did that. Influences is the sun. So again, the sun it's literally about like, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. It's like clarity. So think about how the sun throws everything into stark, what's the relief, stark relief. So like when the sun is out, it's like everything is lit up and nothing is hidden. So again, that's why I was like, there are no more like fast moves or like surprises or whatever this Seven of Swords thing was, is like, that's done. The influence is the sun, so that is a plus. It's also a major arcana, which means that things are not just clear for this moment, they're clear like there's a whole path ahead of you that you have cleared the way for, that for a long time. The sun. Happy days are here again. The sun means joy, success, and happiness. All good things are on the way. You are going to win. Yay. Expect a prize or an award for your accomplishments. Pat yourself on the back and be proud of how far you've come. Yeah, so have reverence for everything. I don't know how long you've had 6 houses, but you did that. So pat yourself on the back for it. This card can also indicate a time of creativity. Your artistic side is blossoming. Get creative, write, draw, sing, paint, or practice your music. The question, what successes have you achieved? So you come a long way, obviously. I also feel like if you are having a new home, it could be that you get into the part that you might enjoy, which is like decorating or filling it with your things or getting your things back. Like maybe your stuff is in storage. You're like, oh my gosh, my things. Because Taurus, you guys are all about your stuff. You're like, oh, I can't wait to have my stuff again. You're like, this is a blanket, but it's not my blanket. That's right. That whole thing. So that's so Taurus. That's how y'all love. Taurus loves their stuff, as you should. But yeah. Excellent. So I really do think the worst is absolutely over. I mean, you probably know that. You're like, it better be over. But yeah, so the cards are also saying like that's over. So advice is the Page of Coins. So the page of coins is sometimes an actual person. So this could be a young person in your life. So this could be like one of your kids, or it could just be you. Now, the Taurus is the queen of coins. So the coins is like the earth sign. So yeah, not all Tauruses are wealthy, but y'all all have, like, you're sitting here talking about how many houses you have. Like, of course you do. Like, my mom's a Taurus. Like, y'all are really about your material security. So it's not about being like materialistic, but it really is about having like your stuff together, like your literal stuff together. And again, we live here in the physical world. So it's really a win for tourists across the world to place a premium on their things, you know. So let's see what they say about the page of coins, and you can see if it's you or if it's somebody else. Study hard. The page of coins indicates a good pupil when this card shows up. So for some reason, it's reminded me of like people like that already have careers, but they want to become real estate agents, so they have to take their real estate exam or something like that. So I don't know if there's something you literally need to study for, but it says you need to focus on your studies if you want to make the grade. So I don't know what that is. Seek knowledge, study hard, and don't lose focus. The more curious and disciplined you are at this time, the better your results will be. Oh, I know what this means. Okay. This card can also mean good news is coming. You may receive good grades, or maybe you'll get a reward for something you've done. If you're thinking of starting a new money-making venture, this might be the right time. And the question is, what are you learning now? Okay, so this is what I think. As we previously discussed, you may not be curious about things if you cannot see the utility of them in your life. So it might be something that you do need to study up on that you're like, for why, for what, but maybe there is a reason. So like look a little closer, but I don't know what that might be, but it's in the advice column. So you would maybe know what that may or may not mean, but consider it. Like it might be something, maybe just research a little bit and you can get an even better outcome, but I don't really think that you can lose either way. You know what I mean? So I just think the advice is saying like, it's like just study up a little, be a little bit curious. I know you're like, but I'm not curious. No, you are curious a little bit. You have Mercury in Gemini. Gemini is curious. So you do have it in you. You have it in you. So you just have to tap into it. And just be a little bit curious, go a little bit deeper for something that you think, oh, I don't really need to.
It's probably the relationship or whatever thing that you asked me, and I was like, no, that's probably what it is.
Well, that's interesting, because then the outcome is the King of Swords, which could be a part. Is this okay? So this could be you. A lot of times this is a person. King of Swords traditionally is a male person that is older, as opposed to like a teenager or something like that. But for you, for this card in this deck, it says master your thinking, which is actually what we talked about, because your emotional wellness depends on you mastering your thinking, because your moon is your emotional wholeness. It's in the 12th house, which is your subconscious. So it really is like believing it, achieving it. So it says to master your thinking. When you see the King of Swords, you're in the position where you can communicate maturely. You can express your ideas in an intelligent manner, which will win others' respect. This can also mark a time when you need to be analytical. Look at the facts. Take a reasonable approach to matters. If you control your reactions, you can control a situation. Message. In some cases, this could represent an adult who is fair but tough. For example, a coach who expects a lot from you, or a parent who wants you to obey the rules. The question: when have you allowed your emotions to color your decision and later wished you hadn't let that happen? So it's basically valuing logic over emotion. So you'll know what that means. Because the thing is,
totally true. That's 100%.
Yeah, so yeah, because I was like, I can give you different examples, but I think that you would know what that means.
100%. Yeah.
because if it's talking about how to feel more emotionally whole. And then the last thing we have on the bottom is the Moon Queen. So in the traditional tarot, it's called the high priestess, and this is just about
Always.
to your
I always pull that.
intuition.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So you are the high priestess, and it's funny because I always joke like that Taurus doesn't believe in astrology, but y'all do, but you do, because, well, first of all, it makes sense to you, but also you have that subconscious mind thing going on, like we talked about. So yeah, intuition. So I'll read it in here. You probably already know what it means, but we'll talk about what it means in here as well. The Moon Queen. That's so funny. So it's at the bottom of the deck. So the bottom of the deck means like it christens the whole reading. So that's so there's the Empress and the High Priestess, and they're two different parts of like divine femininity. So let's read it. Oh, it's called the Moon Queen. I forgot in this book. Hang on. The rules. Trust your instincts. When you see the Moon Queen card, it means to trust your instincts. Do you ever get a funny feeling deep inside and you just know something is true? Like you just know your friend is sad today, even though she hasn't said anything about it? Or you just know your dad is tired, even though he's pretending he's not. Tarot for kids. When you get a feeling like that, it's called instinct. It's a feeling that gives you information. When you have an instinct, listen closely. It will tell you the truth. Have you ever felt an instinct, and when? And what did it feel like for you? So it's just saying you can always trust that you know what you know. You don't ever have to second guess yourself because you are on it. And yeah, so I think that's all. I don't think we need to do an oracle card because I feel like this is very clear. Unless you, I mean, do you want to do this one more card, or you're good? Either way.
What's the oracle card for?
Well, usually it's just to clarify, or it's like, you know what, we're just gonna do it because I already brought it up. So we're doing it, and then we're wrapped. And I actually have to take a break before I do Sunny because it is hot in my apartment. It's hot here. It was nice and cold, and now it's hot again. I'm just like, ugh. So I will have to take a break right after this, right before I do Sunny. But let me just do one more card. So this is just a final message, and it's just an oracle card from the Woodland Wardens, which is animals and plants. And what is a final message for Sharmain in this reading? Oh. This just fell out. This isn't even in this deck. It's the moon card. And you just had the moon queen. So that's just extra moon energy. But this is from the Woodland Wardens. The eel and the iris. Now this is oracle cards just specific to this deck. So I just usually just read these straight away because they're just for this deck. Okay. So they are Roman numerals. And the way my brain is set up, it's just so hard to read them. Hang on. Oh, here it is. Okay. Safety. The eel are furtive creatures, often burying themselves in the murky depths. The idiom slippery as an eel refers to the eel's ability to escape harm. The iris is the tall, hardy flower from which the fleur de lis, which is, I don't know if it's French or Latin. Okay, it's French. A medieval symbol of power and victory is derived. Together, the stealthy eel and the mighty iris indicate safety in our homes, relationships, and work. So upright, it means now is a good time to establish healthy boundaries. That's the King of Swords too from the other reading. That's like the sword is like the boundaries, like just space. If others take offense, do not fret over their reactions. Stand firm in your power, like the iris. I know you're like, say less. Say less. and then the questions, what do I need in order to feel safe, and how can I extend safety to others? So it's really right on track with everything else that we read. Yeah. Do you want me to take a picture, not this minute, but I can't send it this minute, but of the cards? This is what I usually do with some of my clients. Or
sure, just send it to Sunny, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll make sure that I do that. And yeah, that's it. That's your reading. Oh my gosh, we right on time too. I'm impressed.
That's amazing.
Go us. We did it.
Yeah, you did really, really, really accurate reading.
Oh, good. So I
Birth
have to
chart
take,
is crazy.
Yeah. I have to take a break, like maybe like a 5 to 8 minute break. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, because go ahead. You go ahead, and then Kent, I don't see any. You said there's an update, but do you have the link for it, Kent? Thank you so much, Lauren. And I'll see
sure.
you.
Okay, I'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay.
Sure. You've got to watch the interviews with Vanessa. He's a tearjerker. All I see is the word update, but I don't see a link. You said you sent it to me?
Interview with Daniel and Belinda just came out on CBC National News. Sent it to you, Sunny.
Nope, got nothing. Just looking now. All I see is him saying update on there.
I might have to change my mind on Daniel.
Is there a link, Kent?
You got to watch the interview with Vanessa. He's a tearjerker.
Who's Vanessa? You got
First
to watch
question was, did you murder Jack and Lily? Interesting.
The CB news story just came out. I might have missed a minute, but not much. The news story just came out on CTV National Late News. First, you questioned. Right. Did you? Yeah, but I don't have a link. Don't you? Or did you watch it on TV?
If anybody has a DVR, rewind that and then just record it with your phone.
I must have missed a minute. Yeah. So I mean, I can't see anything yet myself. Whoops! What did I just do, Sharmain? There we go. I was just trying to move us around on there. Well, I'll do the same for you when you I left the thing. I'll put it just to me and her. So just, you can still hear, but you just take yourself off screen in a minute, or, when she comes back. Okay. On there. Did you like read it? Good read, eh?
Huh? Oh yeah, it was really good. I started to think I should have asked more about Ian though.
Well, could have, but I was like, background here, I was like, Sharmain, just like YOLO. Just YOLO. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm doing, YOLO, obviously, because I've got
I'm YOLO.
machines everywhere.
Because you didn't let her talk about that on there. Because you said you didn't want any.
Well, because you know what I was like before I met Ian. So I am YOLO. Thank you. And
Ken keeps talking about it in the chat, but there's no link or nothing. I think he watched it on TV. So yeah, you know me. I'm the worst freaking Googler ever when it comes to trying to find stuff half the time. Unless it shows up in my side window. But yeah, so knowing what I know about you, I thought that was a really good read on you.
Oh, it was very accurate. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So he sent you a video in Messenger.
Yeah, maybe it just hasn't come through yet. That's probably what happened, Kent. It's probably because it's still loading or something. Or else it was too big to come through. That's because you always do that, right? But boom, 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 boom. Because I was looking CBC News. It will come out later because if it was on TV, CBC News. Nova.
So if anybody's interested in that, I can tell you that
yeah,
she was very accurate. She knows her stuff, so
and
I managed 50% off.
Yeah, and Sharmain, because me and Sharmain are just tell it like it is type of people, so she wouldn't steer you wrong. So I know
if it wasn't accurate, I wouldn't say anything. But I'm telling y'all right now, the stuff she said was on point.
On point.
On point.
On point.
Like, look at my chart. That's some messed up shit, but straightforward to someone that was talking about. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at it. Look at it. It's bizarre in the best way, but
yeah.
I could not figure that out for the life of me.
Kent, CBC the National. Well, she's back.
Y'all are making me laugh.
If somebody, just one sec, Lauren. If somebody does find the link for the CBC special with Belinda and Daniel there, please send it to atcrimeandshame@gmail.com because
I will go and have a look as well.
Okay, so we're gonna boot you off. Wait, we didn't boot you off. Hold on, you didn't leave yet. Hold on. Sharmain, remove. Okay, I'll have to remove Sharmain.
Okay.
Kick. No, I don't want to kick her. Sharmain.
What?
Take yourself off. Remove yourself from the screen.
All right. How do I do that?
Leave
studio?
No, you're not gonna leave studio. You just gotta hit remove, so you go down to the bottom.
Remove.
There we go. There we go. There. Now it's wait. I gotta put my chart now.
Yeah. Let me put your chart up.
Oh yeah. So I mean I know Sharmain in a lot of ways, and that so I thought myself that was a really good read on Sharmain for sure.
Oh, good. Yeah. It's mostly the most important is that whoever is getting the reading gets what they want out of what they want out of it in that moment. I'll put your chart up. I'm trying to decide what tarot I want to use for you, but we're gonna do your chart first.
Okay.
So
YOLO.
So your chart, Sunny, you're sitting down? Okay. You're sitting down.
Where I'm standing at.
Listen.
Okay.
I have a bombshell.
I'm waiting for it. I'm sitting down.
Okay. I mean, you might already know this, but I just... So, you know how there's like the sun, moon, and rising? So your sun is in Cancer, and your rising sign is Libra. Yay. We love a Libra. But guess what your moon sign is? Just guess.
Guess my moon sign is Pisces.
It's Pisces. You have a Pisces moon. But it's okay because my teacher, actually one of my first teachers, he always said that usually when someone's like, oh, I can't stand that sign, they usually have it very prominent in their chart. So yes, you have a Pisces moon and you're in really good company. My son has a Pisces moon. His dad has a Pisces moon. I have many Pisces moon friends. So I do know the placement quite well, but it makes even more sense now how you felt that Cancer and Pisces were the same, because for you, they are both water signs, and because you have them both so strongly in your chart, they mesh together. Because they're water, they go together seamlessly, so they get along in your chart. But it's understandable why certain things about Pisces would get on your nerves, because you have a lot of other aspects in your chart that mitigate some of that Pisces like madness. So Pisces, they're very like much like martyrs, and like they're doing the most. And you by having a Pisces moon it just gives you the ability to have such, like, you have a big heart anyway, but to have like a heart for the world, like it's like a altruistic sign. It shows compassion, and you have kind of like checks and balances in your chart that keep everything balanced. But we'll talk more about it. Just organizing my cards. But yeah, so you have Cancer Sun, Pisces Moon, and Libra Rising. Now, do you have anything? Did you hear when I started with Sharmain about how the chart's gonna go and all that?
Yeah, I listened, and you can tell me about whatever, like anything, doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, is there anything that you want to focus on in particular?
Well, like, so when you get to the part, I guess for that part, I would say the only thing I want to focus on is that my husband, he doesn't know which end of his ass is up sometimes when it comes to where his future's, like where our future's going. He wants to, like, he'll say we're doing this, then he'll say we're going to do that, then he'll say we're this, then that. So I'm left in this lull of going, what the heck do you want? Like, I'm not a big planner, but I would like to know where we're going to be. Are we going to be in England at some point? Are we going to be here? Is he going to start his business? The name that he's already, stuff like that. So that's my only qualm about anything, is that he's making my head spin going, what?
So in your partnership, yeah. So we'll do the cards at the end, but I guess it can be something about like what do you need to consider as a as a couple and moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So you have the sun in Cancer, and it's up in the 9th house. So the 9th house is like the house of higher learning, and it's the house of the internet, and it's I know I mentioned that you might have Mercury and you have Mercury in Sag. I thought it was in. Okay. You have a lot of different elements in your chart. So your chart is a little different than Charmaine's chart. So Charmaine's chart is very like focused. It's like it's right here. It's a very straightforward theme. So we talked about all of the personal planets like Mercury, Mars, Venus. Those are called personal planets. But we kind of talked about them together. You have all your planets are just they're all over. They're in different houses. They are all over the place. So we actually have to talk a little more specifically about each placement and how they kind of work together, because you have like a different kind of chart, you know what I'm saying? And we love to see it. So having the sun in the internet house is the reason why you are up here video blogging about true crime. I know you said you don't do lives like this all the time, but you probably have had different times where you did lives like this all the time and then maybe took a break and then came back. But yeah, like you live in the internet, like you love it and it's great. And because it's like, Cancer is ruled by the moon, it's like your heart is in it, you know what I mean? So you don't always, like, meaning you love it, like it doesn't mean like everything is always good, but you take the good with the bad. I mean, some people would be terrified to be on YouTube, like literally like terrified, and you're like, I gotta do it, and the reason why I say you gotta do it is similar to Charmaine's chart. You also have actually, it's in different signs, but you have Mercury in Gemini too. So you have the same Mercury, which means that even though you guys are completely different, you have the same reasoning, and you're both very good at articulating yourself when you want to, when you feel that it's worth it. It's not that you always have to, but you have the need to articulate yourself. And because you have what's called Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion. It just expands everything that it touches. It is in Virgo for you, which is also like a very communicative sign. So it's basically like you're explaining something here, you're explaining it there, you're going to explain it everywhere, you're going to explain it again, and then you're like, I'm just going to say it again. Like, but you know what? Let's just go back and like look at this other thing again, because you just every angle. is like you love it. So also it's square to Pluto, which means you could literally do this all day, every day. And I get tired of it. You would continue, but not that you should, but you could, you would. And also Pluto is like really like dark issues. You're like, we're gonna talk about the difficult stuff. And maybe it doesn't seem difficult to you because you talk about it all the time, but like it really is, you know, it really, really is. And saying, doing this for the missing and the murder. Not gonna start talking about YouTube stuff, but and we can talk about this after. But there's this one lady on YouTube that was like, that lady is a hypocrite. She was talking about you, like, and I'll tell you about, you know, like it is so crazy because I'm like, name names, like, man. But anyway, so I'll tell you about it, you know. But she's like, oh, she doesn't really mean that. Like that's not, you know, or even when people thought you guys were lying about January, like they don't really mean that. No, like no, you really do, and it really is that deep. So it's not for other people to understand because not everybody lives in that place. You know what I mean? And luckily, like you are not dealing with it on a personal level, meaning that this did not happen to someone close to you, so that you can be close enough to have the amount of empathy that you need to speak on such subjects, but it's not so harmful that, you know, it hurts you to live in that reality where you're speaking on this all the time. So there's that. Okay. Now, your rising sign is in Libra, which is, I know you're saying you get along with Libras. And it's true because Cancer and Libra are very much not the same. If you were to ever look at a chart, they say like, oh, they don't get along. My brother's a Cancer and I'm a Libra, so I know all about the Cancer and Libra. I get along with him. It's just he doesn't get along with me. Like, I don't know. And it's just because, like, I just understand, you know. But it's just because I'm just like happy go living my Libra life. And he's like a Cancer, like I'm worrying, you know, I'm quiet, I'm to myself. And so the Libra makes you able to get along with people and enjoy to relate to people. Libra is all about one-on-one relating. And actually, my Mercury is at 24 degrees Libra and your rising sign is 24 degrees Libra. That's why I just hopped on here and it's like, hey, we're best friends. We've been best friends forever. Like you literally don't know anything about me. Like, especially when I first hopped on there, but it's like the meeting of the minds, just in terms of like, even if I don't think exactly the same, just the process for getting, you know, for getting there is similar. And so the Libra in your chart, it really brings you out and makes you not like one of those like really shy Cancers that doesn't talk to anybody. Now, it doesn't mean that you're like super tight with everybody, and in fact, you're probably not. The thing about Libra, I know from personal experience, is like you like people, but not as much as they think you do. Because like Libras are able to give like these really sincere compliments, and Cancer and Libra, it means you have like the charm and you like truly care, but you do that for everyone, which is why actually you do customer service, second nature to you, because like you do care. But then like, okay, we fix that, hang up, on to the next, you know. So whereas like some Cancers get so like waterlogged, they just get so focused on something and not able to get past it. But a Libra kind of lightens up that that mood a little bit. So it helps you be more sociable person. And also Libra feels better when Libra is okay when you are okay. And so that could cause problems, especially maybe when you were younger, with people like maybe in toxic relationships where they're like, you have to make me okay. And you're like, okay, I can do that. But you don't have to do it. It's just, it's in your nature to do so.
It's in my nature to do so.
Yeah. And so you also have Venus in Taurus. So Libra is ruled by Venus. and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So having Venus in Taurus is a really strong placement. What does that mean? It means that there is a reason why you've had a serial monogamous. You're a serial monogamous. Like you love to be in love. You love to be partnered. You know how to show love. And even though you have Mercury in Sagittarius, which means you do come out of your mouth sometimes, you don't talk crazy to your partners in all sincerity. So it's not like this thing where you're just going to just say really harsh things and be like, take it or leave it. Like that's just not your way. Like you want your partners to be okay. You know what I mean?
My purpose is to be in love.
Your purpose is to be in love. And that's why you always say,
like, it's not my purpose, like, meaning there's a bigger purpose, obviously, but meaning that one's one of the things that means the most to me, always.
Yeah.
I don't limit myself to love. I don't limit to say I'll never marry again or I won't do this again. I it's one of those things that's the best feeling in the world.
Oh yeah. So then you're actually, speaking of your moon, which is in Pisces, is in the 5th house. And the 5th house is the house of children, but it's also the house of like romance and romantic love. And your moon is what you need to feel emotionally whole and safe. And Pisces is with no boundaries. So it's literally like love no limit type of thing. Is where you feel most emotionally whole. And again, you just want to make sure that you're in the right contact, like you're in the right relationship, in the right context to do that. And so maybe when you were younger, it was maybe more difficult. Or even as a kid, you might have just been so like just all in on whatever it is, you know, and just didn't quite know how to like stop yourself from being so all into what it was, or you know, whatever it may be. Okay. So Venus and Taurus. So Venus is what you value. So you're another one. You're not quite as much of like Sharmain, but like you like your stuff and your things, and like you like your cold. You like cold drinks when it's hot and hot drinks when it's cold. I know that's like Captain Obvious stuff, but you
That
just like
yes, you're right. You're right.
comfort,
Yes,
comfort.
yes.
You know, you you're probably, oh, you were talking about yesterday how you were like really big chested even in high school, and that's a Cancer thing. That's like it's like a Cancer
What did you say?
trait.
Sorry.
You were talking about how you were big chested even in high school.
Oh yeah.
And that's like a Cancer thing. And you are also very beautiful, but you probably like to dress it up a little bit. So like you don't have to. You also woke up like this, so to speak, like how Charmaine did, but you like to like match. So you just like kind of match your whatever to your whatever, and you probably like
well,
jewelry and like
don't
you
do
know
jewelry. Don't do
yeah
jewelry. But I always just for you know, mostly I always just for what do you want to call them? Like gym outfits.
gym outfits. But would they match? They weren't just like pajamas though. They were like outfits, right?
Right, no. Everything just kind of has to have somewhat of a match to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I can't just be out here looking. Yeah, exactly. So it's like the Libra is the sparkle, and the Taurus is the being practical. So again, you do have a chart where you could just go way overboard. And you do a lot. Like you are doing the most for certain things, but you have your chart is like a lot of checks and balances. That's why when you have a lot of different elements that come together, everything is like a lot of checks and balances. So that's why even if you go too far to one place, you may have to pull yourself back. You have the presence of mind to do that. So it's not like this thing where like your friends had to get you out of it. Like Sunny had to get herself out of it, like type of thing. And yes. So I think that so your Mars is in Sagittarius and it's square.
Can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
Do you find me harder to read than Sharmain because I am all over the map in my life? Like, meaning I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. Or no?
It's not harder to read, but I think it's like harder to figure out what to focus on. Because like I could definitely read it. And like I also trying to figure out how to say it. Like I want to say that you do have a blind spot. And I was trying to figure out how to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And what would be, because something is telling me it's like blind spots. So it's not harder to read, but it is hard to focus on. Like Sharmain is like, this is the map. Like it's like we're going here, we're going there, we're going there, and there.
Yeah.
But
I'm like,
for you, it's also like many lifetimes because you've described it several times that you weren't married for like 2 years. You know what I mean? You like having several different marriages. All of us go through several different lifetimes as we age, but even just having those marriages, like those are true eras, like, you know, like really solid eras. That different parts of your chart were probably like lit up. Yeah, at that time. But yeah, I just was thinking that I felt like you might have a blind spot. Okay, so if this is not appropriate to talk about on live, it's okay. But I was thinking about your son, and I know that you I would almost asked you for his birth time and stuff like that, but then that would be a whole other very long thing. But I was thinking about your son, and you mentioned that your ex has him under mind, he's an adult, but he's like kind of under mind control, and like y'all go. But I was thinking he thinks that you don't listen when you do, but you might act like you don't. Like, so it's just like, I was thinking like that whole situation right there is just a misunderstanding because like his grievances with you are probably true, but they're also like in context, like not true. So it just shouldn't even be like the impasse of no communication like it is, if that makes sense, you know? And so I don't know what the situation is there in detail, but for that person, me, your son, I would encourage him, and maybe he is thinking about this and having a new child, to kind of turn over a new leaf and, you know, clock in. It's 2025. What'd you say?
Trying. Yeah. By the
You
way,
know,
just for the sake of it, by the way, my son, he was 8 pounds 8 ounces, and he was born at 8:07 p.m. Just so I can never forget that. Well, no, I actually did when I went to go repeat it back to him when he was telling me about Thalia, about the time, and I was like, and then for some reason I got all dyslexic in my head and said 7 pounds 8 ounces. You were born at 7:08, but no. But anyways, so yeah, so it was just kind of one of those weird little coincidences. He was 8 pounds 7 ounces, born at 8:07 that night.
So we could actually just look it up. So we'll say SS for Sunny's son. Date. Go ahead.
SOS, more like it.
You're like, I think you mean SOS. What's the date though?
Sorry?
The date?
January 4th, you mean?
Oh, January 4th. Okay. And the year?
1997.
97. And then 8:07 a.m. p.m.
No, p.m.
Okay. And then in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Ish. Okay. Huh. Well, I'm glad we brought this up because I was like, I'd have to let you know in advance, but I guess I wouldn't.
And you guys, just, you can ignore me for a second. And yes, you guys, thank you guys for whatever you sent me. No, Kent, I'm not going to stop the read in the middle of an update, no matter what. That would be just rude to do that. But don't worry, we'll get around to it. But I do appreciate the fact that you sent that. So there was an update, like there was an interview, just so you know, Lauren, that come out with Belinda and stuff like that. That is airing, that aired tonight and whatever. So it was one of those things that everyone's been anxious. I told them that Belinda had told me that it was going to come out on Wednesday, but I guess it came out today. But anyways, so that's what Chad is kind of talking about a little bit there, because it's
I can't see the chat, which is good.
No, don't. So don't. You just go on with your
So
bad
don't
self.
don't
Go
worry,
on.
chat. 30,
Yeah,
35 more minutes.
I was gonna say, yeah, the world's not gonna end. Yeah, still
It's
gonna be
gonna be
here
there.
tomorrow.
We're gonna hop off, and it's still gonna be there. I do remember you saying there was gonna be an update. Oh, Capricorn, 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 Scorpio moon. Oh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think for this person, and then Mars in Libra. Yeah, I think for this person, probably like not really trying to engage with their emotions, and you engage those as a mom, as any mom, engage those emotions so succinctly. He just was like, I can't do this, and I think having the child probably will put him in a place that he's more comfortable with his emotions. Because I just keep getting the feeling that whatever he feels discomfort from you is more discomfort, but it's not like in the court of reality. It is real, but it just feels more uncomfortable to him because you're his mom. It's like very, very sensitive.
Me and my son were best friends up until the divorce. He wanted his father's love. His father hated me, simple as that. And anything he could say bad about me, he would say. Matthew ended up taking on his dad's attitude towards me, saying that I think that I'm an angel and my shit don't stink, and which is not true. I've always done things from the bottom of my heart for all purposes of my life. I've led by my heart and for actual loving and caring. But yeah, so now that he has a child, he feels like, bottom line was he felt like I abandoned him. I didn't, but he feels that way. So I have to accept that he feels that way. But it's just that he's never wanted to talk about it ever at all. So he doesn't entertain it. So that's hence where it's been for the last 10 years is that I want to talk about it so that we can just work it through, because it's not really what he thinks, but he doesn't want to talk about it because he just simply doesn't want to talk about it. He's 28. He doesn't want to talk about it. So what am I going to do? I can only spend 10 years crying about it and then get tired of that. And then just realize when his time is right, his time is right. That's what the universe will give to me when the timing's right, So, and of course, and
here's the good news, actually. So your son has he has Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, all in Capricorn, and Capricorn is actually the sign of the father, and Cancer is the sign of the mother. And also Pluto, which is a very slow moving planet, has been going through Capricorn for the past almost 12 years, either 12 or maybe even 15 years, like about 15 years. So your Pluto works on people like how the water cuts through rock over thousands of years. That's how Pluto works. It's really slow and really profound. And so for him, it's been working on his son, his whole life purpose. And that would also explain the preoccupation. So if we're doing the math 10 years ago, so schism was probably a couple of years before that. So just as he's coming into like puberty and manhood and all of that, it becomes most important to have that approval from the father because of how his chart is, which is stepping into the sun, which is like his identity as a man, as opposed to his moon, which is in Scorpio. And you have a direct, like, you have the Cancer, you have that from all angles, okay? You have the Cancer, the Pisces, the Taurus, so that's your sun, moon, and Venus. Those are like all your love planets, just like attack to his heart, like just like made like direct line to his heart. Whereas like when a boy is trying to be a man or whatever, he's like, I don't want to feel that comfort. I don't want to feel like that best friend feeling. So I know that this person,
he wanted his dad's love. That's that simple.
He
wanted his father's love. And in order for that to happen, he felt like he had to turn on me because his dad was hating me. So he said that to me. He's a child. He never deserved to be put in the middle of it at all. And that's the part that bugs me with Lauren. I know that's sidetracking a little bit. That's the part that bugs me is that no child ever deserves to be put in the middle of of the divorce, and you try to do it as best as you can. But no child should ever be told these mean, cruel things about their mother and stuff like that. And to say that to your own child, right? You should never do stuff like that. Children are children. They're meant to be children, to be loved and protected, and not to give them issues and imbalances like that in life. That's what makes me angry about it all, is that my son has his own thinking, but his thinking is not really truly his like the trueness of what happened. It's what he believes.
Yes.
But it's not true. But he doesn't want to hear about any of that. So I just have to let him grow up and let things work out the way that they're meant to work out.
He's going to come back. And you're right. It was definitely an injustice done to him that he probably still doesn't even realize, like how much of an injustice was done to him. But you're absolutely correct. It's really no way for it's traumatic enough to deal with your parents breaking up, and you shouldn't have had to go through that. And I'm sure that it was very short-sighted on the partner's part, the ex-partner's part. The other thing, though, I actually was having a vision about it too. I was thinking you probably had this person, your son, saying, "You don't care about me, or you don't love me," and you're like, "I could not love you more." That's an actual vision that I had, and I was trying to figure out if like it was because your actions were not lined up with your intent, but it sounds like you were put through a kaleidoscope of just kind of like untruth, sort of.
It's hard when you love somebody so much.
Yeah.
That
yeah, it's okay.
Children are everything.
Yeah.
They don't deserve this. They don't deserve what Jack and Lily are going through, or what. They don't deserve it. Okay, that's the bottom line of it. So that's what hurts, is when he's my gift. My son is my gift. I gave him everything, love, support, the love of his father that he didn't get. I gave him everything. So yeah, does it hurt that he turned on his mother and started calling her names and stuff? Yeah, it hurts. It's 10 years of hurt is what it's been.
He regrets it, and he will come back. And I'm not just saying that as like a magic 8 ball. I believe it's true, because that was the main, honestly, like when I was thinking about your chart, that was kind of like the main thing I was thinking about, was just your son and this misunderstanding. And it sounds like the misunderstanding has been epic, and it has been going on for this long. But one thing that is constant is change. And one cool thing about astrology is that you can actually see when the change happens and how it happens, and it's past time. So when you really do get a chance to reunite, he's probably going to say, like, I figured this out, I came to this realization 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, I just didn't know how to say it, or I didn't know how to come to you, or that type of thing. But I do think that the recovery is imminent. I do believe that
10 years is a lot of hurt inside when you love somebody and it's your only child. I
can't even imagine. I have a 22. My son just turned 22, and I cannot even imagine. Like, I am here with you, and he's my only. I just can't even imagine. Yeah. That's why. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, my husband that I'm with, that's July 11th, will be 10 years married with him. But I know he's a lot younger than me, but he never wanted children. So that was perfect, right? Because I said, you got to promise me that, because I'm not going to see her marry your ass and you're just going to want children like down the road. But I knew he didn't. So he's always there if I'm upset about it, but he doesn't understand it. He doesn't have his own child,
right?
At the end of the day. So he doesn't know really how deep it hurts. He just knows that I'm crying and upset because my son might have said something to me, like, that really hurt and stuff like that. It's hard. It's hard, but don't get me wrong. Okay, yes, I get emotional about it all this time later. It's my child. my child that I love. So to me, it feels like 10 years of not even really knowing my child anymore because he's just distanced himself. And if I could be the sweetest person, and every time he looked at me, it was like his dad's words were coming out. Like, you think you're better than everybody else. You think that you're an angel. You think that your shit don't stink. You shouldn't. Okay, that was from my ex-husband. But yet, before the divorce or before when we were happily married, he said that he couldn't believe people like me existed, that help people all the time. So I went from that to I was this, like my son, like this evil mother almost. And it's hurtful. Of course it is. Yeah.
The discard. Absolutely. That's the only reason I wanted to bring up the Pluto thing, though, is that so yours was the Pluto opposition, which meaning you are sitting across from this energy, this very ugly, very deep-seated, painful energy just being given to you that you don't. It is actually it's like the opposite of what you deserve, actually the opposite of what you are. But I brought up that it's the Pluto cycle because it does move very slowly, and Pluto is finally moved out of Capricorn. So that means that it's a whole other, well, Pluto, sometimes it's a 15-year cycle, sometimes it's a generational planet. It's a whole new cycle. It's a whole new cycle. And when was the child born?
Pardon?
When was the child born, the baby?
Oh, April 14th.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it kind of dipped in, it's in Aquarius now. It kind of dipped in Aquarius, and then it went back into Capricorn over the summer, last summer, and then it went back into Aquarius in the fall. And now it's just moving forward through that. And so I do believe that. What'd you say?
All I gotta do is keep sending him money. He'll come around. Keep sending him money. He'll come around. That's my son. I know him. Money buys love in his case.
that's that Capricorn thing we talk about. Like, they're like, if you love me, I need to see some receipts. They're like that. So it's not even like, I wouldn't even say that it's not like Taurus just wants security, but Capricorn is like, okay, but what have you done for me lately? So I could see that. I could see that. But I think that he has probably seen the fucked upness of the situation within recent years and just not show. And I don't know if he has a partner. I know he has a child, so it may even be through that relationship, or it may be even through seeing it's a son. The baby is a son. His baby is a son.
Boy, a girl?
It's a boy or a girl?
Girl.
Oh, it's a girl. But yeah, even in seeing like a child, oh, that's the baby's name. Okay, even seeing a child like fresh out and becoming a parent, he's gaining that understanding more and more with each day. And so, yeah, as far as the sending him money thing, yeah, that's that Capricorn business. That's just how they are. They're just like, okay, receipts.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm good. You know that I know exactly what you're saying and coming from, and I know, just like Sharmain, like she had it as my first reading and stuff like that. But I know about like who I am, so you're not wrong at all. Everything to me is about love and care. It's all I've ever been built for, to be honest with you. And that's how I'll always lead my life. And my son, we all know at some point, maybe with this having my granddaughter, that will build a stronger relationship over time again, like it used to be and stuff like that. So
it will be.
So thank you.
Yeah. No, you're welcome. The tides are changing, and I'm saying, like, if I showed you on the astrology map, like it's called the ephemeris. If I showed you, I could show you the numbers and the dates even. So it's like a weather forecast, but the
a little bit of rain today.
Just a little bit of rain, but like 12 years worth of rain, like just like 12 years is a lot of rain, And so yeah, you're like, there's no way this could work itself out, but it really can. Unfortunately, we'll never know. We always say this. I always say, like, even losing someone you love or something, to death or something like that. It's like we will never understand as human beings why things had to be the way that they are, but God knows. So there's really, we will never understand how you could have gone from being the best, so close to your son to having such a long period of estrangement, but God willing, you're able to come back together. And I'm telling you that the times are the tide is changing.
Whatever the purpose was for it all, who actually knows, to be honest with you? I don't know.
That's what I mean. It's like, the feeling is like, it didn't have to be that. Why did it have to be that way? But the fact is, like, it did. We just will never, understand it.
It didn't. It didn't. It didn't have to be. We could have been still friends, me and my ex-husband. It didn't have to be, had to hate me.
But see, that's on him though, because, and that's the other thing. And I mean, I'm not one of those people that's like karma. I don't feel that way, but I do feel like the intention matters, and the person that's really going to lose in the long run, if he's still living, by the way, is your ex-husband, because he's the one. They know, your kids know, they see it when they grow up, and you haven't even had a relationship with your son since he's been a grown-up, really. But he's seeing it more and more clear each day, and in becoming a parent, like, it will be crystal clear, and it won't ever be something that you will have to explain, and it's something he will have to answer for, and he will have to apologize for, because that's the damage that he did. And like you were saying, aside from the fact that it was something against you, it also is just no way, nothing to put a child through. A child should not have to go through that, period, no matter who it belongs to. So that's really on him, and he's going to have to atone for that. And so that's the person that really, really loses. And I mean, I know you're not like super religious, and I don't mean to like put the religion on you, but I just know that everything that was taken from you will be returned to you tenfold. And believe that.
I was going to say, it's not that I'm not religious in the sense, do I, Bible thump and stuff like that? No. Have I read the Bible? Absolutely. My thing is this. I don't care who you are, what God you believe in, what God you don't. In life, you be a good, decent person, and you help people, and you just try to do good things in life. You don't try to, like, hate or be cruel or mean on purpose, or go around, killing babies and stuff like that. Just be like meaning. So I don't need a God to tell me like meaning or to believe in a certain
religion to say it has to be this way.
To say yes. Yeah. Because when Matthew was younger, his aunt literally came up to me and said, your son's not going to be a good kid if he doesn't go to church. And I was like, hand up, and I was like, you know what? My kid does not need to go to church for him to be a good person. Thank you very much.
That you're like, that's why we have to stay away from church, because you're at church talking crazy.
Yeah.
That's
it's not my church. My church is just love, be kind, and love. Be kind.
So just know that it's not like, that you're a perfect person, that you're totally blameless or whatever. But one thing you did not do was intentionally. You are not at fault in this particular situation, because just objectively speaking, a child should not be put in that situation. So everything that you lost, I do believe will be returned. To you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead. You probably want to do your cards or something.
Oh yeah, I got my cards out. So we have about like 15-20 minutes.
Just go till 9 o'clock there, if that's okay.
Okay, we have 16 minutes. So then so how do you want to ask the question about your partnership?
I just well, honestly, because my husband, I love him to pieces, but we're 21 years apart. So I'm like, dude, you need to figure out what the heck you want to do with your life here, because he doesn't know. Like, I always, like, even though I'm the least planning person, there's always usually a goal that you kind of have. Like, I'm going to retire here. I'm going to move here. My husband, he doesn't know what the heck he wants, to be honest with you. He doesn't know if we're staying here, going there, doing whatever, starting a business, this and that. And I'm just like, husband, you're causing me anxiety. Like, I literally have no realm of where our life is going in the sense of what he wants to do. Like, because my life, like I'm always putting the husband ahead of myself, always, right? Because I'm always wanting to make them happy. So it's like, husband, what do you want to? Oh, there's somebody in chat that's probably gonna get offended by me saying husband. Too bad, it's my husband. Okay, I don't need to say his names. Stone Cold Steve Austin, SmackDown. But anyways, but so I call him my love or baby or our husband, right? Someone made a comment to that. I'm like, mind your business. But anyways, so I just feel like normally I just kind of have a goal, like that. There's a goal that we've set ourselves for, but he's all over the map, and I'm like, yeah, come on, you Cancer, get your ass together.
So what can you do to help support your husband in his quest
what does he want to do? Where do you see us going in freaking 5 years?
Oh, you want to do a reading about him?
Yeah, well, I want to know the answer is, or the question is that I want to know kind of what line we're going down. Like, where do you see us?
If you continue down the road that you're on right now, where will it lead to?
Lead me to probably.
No, is that the question? No.
Yeah.
You're like absolutely losing my mind.
Yes.
Okay, so if we continue down this road, if you and husband in Stone Cold, if you and Stone Cold continue down this road, where are we headed? Where are y'all headed?
Or what's
past,
like
present?
Yeah, whichever. Like, what do you see him doing? Because I don't care. I'll just follow whatever he wants.
But you have to follow what you need to follow.
No, he's my happiness. He's my happiness, and I will do whatever he wants to do because it makes me happy to see others happy. Yes, and because it will make me happy to see others happy. It applies in my life through all the way. So I get my happiness out of somebody else. I'm fine. I'm content doing whatever. I don't care if I'm sitting in a field like picking strawberries or something like that on a farm sometime, but I'm fine with that. So do you get what I'm saying there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always happy because I like making others happy. It's my way.
It's my way. I already put the cards out. So funny. You are, yeah. It's so funny because with Sharmain's chart, I was like, we're here, we're there. I didn't even know exactly what we were talking about, but I was like, we're right here. With your chart, I'm like, we're over here, we're over there, we're everywhere. Okay. So what?
That would be my life.
So what I asked was, this reading. What I asked was, what do you need to understand about the situation with your husband's situation? I just said, what is important for you to know? So in the past, there was the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords means moving on from a really difficult situation. And I know you've mentioned several times about how you like had lost your job and you were having a really difficult situation. I think that might be what it is. But you were just saying like you're like you lost your job and like you were kind of depressed.
Oh yes, yes, you're right. When I lost my job.
This is in the past position. Where's my book?
Yeah.
And so I think that is the, oh my gosh, I really lost my book. Oh, here it is. I know. So you caught the ADHD already just from the way that I talk. So you already know that I will do something while sitting in one place. Because of course I will. So the Six of Swords is the past. So I think it's moving on from a difficult situation. You don't have any pets, do you?
2 cats, Bambi and Montana.
Oh, because normally in this card, it's a woman and her son, and then somebody steering the boat. But in this one, it's just got a dog. But I don't think so. This is the tarot for kids, but I like to use it for my adults sometimes. But I'm just gonna read the Six of Swords and then talk about what it might mean from you. Leave your troubles behind. So I think in the past, you know how you were like, if he's happy, then I'm happy. But I think in the past, he was trying to help you steer into calmer waters, which is good. This is just the past. It's just some groundwork. The Six of Swords is a sign that you're moving away from difficulties. If you've experienced sadness or loss, this card indicates that you're leaving it behind. Something is changing, or maybe you're moving or taking a trip. Moving can make you feel sad, especially if you're leaving your friends behind. This is for kids. But soon everything smooths out. The question is, where do you need to go from here? So this is going to be one of those readings. So a lot of times readings have really straightforward answers. This reading is like, it is whatever you want it to be. But we're gonna go through it anyway. The present is the Page of Swords. Now this could be, I know it's a woman and a girl in this, but this could be you. This could be this could be him, because it indicates like a younger person. It's not always a girl, but it could be either one. But it's just about being a quick thinker. But I'm gonna read it to you too. So that's the present, the Page of Swords. So the Six of Swords is like that heaviness and moving from difficulty to moving forward. And so the Page of Swords is like that renewed energy for like, okay, what next? Like, okay, so and that's why you're at loose ends, because you're like, okay, the crisis is over. So where are we going? How are we going to get there? You know, but let me read it, see what it says. Seek the truth. When you see the Page of Swords, it can mean that you must be ready to pursue the truth of a matter. If you want justice, be willing to take a stand. You can cut through the fog and get to the heart of the issue. This can also indicate an intellectual challenge. Don't give up, stay the course, and you'll get it. Like young King Arthur in the Legend of Excalibur, you will pull the sword out of the stone. Question, what risk are you willing to take to get to the truth? So who needs to take these risks here? Is it him or is it you?
It's not me. I'm a risk taker. I have, yeah.
Page of Swords. So in
me,
his heart, he actually kind of probably does know, and maybe is like avoiding a realization that he needs to make, and it's driving you crazy because you're like, yeah. So tell him to get it together and to
that's what I do,
to be really real with himself.
Together.
It doesn't look like a mystery. Like it looks like he knows in his heart. You know, in his heart. Influences is the Eight of Cups, and this is another one. It's like a moving on from a difficult situation. Influences. So the Six of Swords was the past, and the influences is the Eight of Cups. And we'll see what it says. Yeah, tell him that he knows and he needs to identify it and name it so that you can feel better. So
he needs to own it. Yeah.
When you see the Eight of Cups means to move on. Okay, so you're gonna know if this is something he needs to move on from, or you need to, or as a couple you need to move on from.
Right.
When you see the Eight of Cups, it means you're moving away from a situation. Again, you're finished with the task, and maybe you're no longer interested in a particular hobby or friendship. Okay, so this could also be if he's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I changed my mind, you know, so this could also just be for him. Instead of staying, leave. Sometimes this card might mean that your family is moving to a new home or taking a dream vacation. Question, what are you ready to walk away from? So yeah, ask him, what are you ready to walk away from? And then don't leave until he answers the question. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Listen, unmarried Lauren is over here giving you advice, so don't take it with a grain of salt. Okay, but do you understand what it means? In your life?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, because yeah. So, advice is the Five of Coins. So the Five of Coins is about feeling left out in the cold, and that's confusing to me. But let's see what they say about it.
I know what that card means.
Oh, do you?
We'll see. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see.
But if you know what it means in the context, then
I think so.
Being an outsider. When you see the Five of Coins, it can indicate financial problems such as losing your money. It can also mean you're feeling like you don't belong. If you've ever felt like you didn't fit in, you know the energy behind this card. It can be hard when someone gives you the cold shoulder. In that case, you might want to search for like-minded people and form your own circle. This might just be for you. I don't know. Have you ever felt like you stood out? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I feel like I stand out because I make myself known wherever I go, pretty much. It's like, hey, how's it going? But no, so I would say, if I was to say that card, my brother-in-law moved in with us 3.5 years ago. Yeah, so obviously, you know, three's a crowd sometimes. So although I do love my brother-in-law, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like it feels like my husband's having a bromance instead of a marriage really so much anymore. And it's not because we don't love each other. We absolutely do, but he doesn't understand it because he's now put himself in the middle. But I'm just like, but I feel like I'm the third wheel, and that's wrong. This is our marriage, not using your brother because they game all the time. Which is, see, the thing is that I'm really good with allowing a long leash, you know. But
Yeah.
don't ever take away my love cup that runneth over. When you start making me feel like I'm an inconvenience because you're too busy gaming, you know, then shut the front door because
With your sibling. Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
so meaning, yeah. So I mean, I love the fact that he has his brother and everything here, but with that, I knew was going to be some changes, but I don't want to be I'm not a third wheel in this marriage, and so sometimes I feel like that because both of them are out in the living room and the dining room, and that's where they game. I'm in the bedroom, right? So it's always like sometimes he'll come into the room and he'll be like, "Yeah, me and Ryan are going over to Dairy Queen to get some." Oh, great, thanks for asking. Thought I was married to you, but because you're married to your brother, aren't you? You know, but thanks for asking me though. You know, if I
Oh,
want to
yeah,
come.
yeah, yeah.
So there's that little piece that goes, are you married to me or your brother? You know, but don't get me wrong. Like, I love the fact of his brother that he's able to be here because he came over from England. So I would just feel like a little bit cold that way because it never would have happened had his brother not moved in here. Then then I wouldn't kind of get the more sass that I kind of get now because him and his brother are always joking around. So, ha ha ha, ha ha, you can talk to your brother like that, ha ha, ha, but no, don't talk to me like that. I ain't your brother. You know,
Aww.
I'm your wife for life.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
no, but
I mean, if the Five of Pentacles is in the advice column, then it's saying, like, yeah, I guess just make sure to maintain the boundaries and don't feel worried to speak on it. The outcome is the Moon. So it's not a scary card, but it's like let's see. So the Moon. Now, the Moon, this is the Cancer card as well. So, in this deck, it says, pay attention. Things might be a little dark right now, but the moon means changes are on the way. It might be hard to see what's coming. You'll need to stay alert for signs of trouble and allow your intuition to guide the way. Sometimes the moon card indicates that you're feeling afraid. If you're worried about something, ask for help. I'm not saying that you are. This is what it says.
well, Sherman, I've fallen. No, just kidding.
Someone else, I've fallen, and someone else might be able to shed light on what's really going on. And so then the question is, what is one of your deepest fears? So I will say, with the Five of Pentacles and the advice, it did say to reach out to your circle. So I think that it's good that you, even though we are just your internet friends, it's good that you have us to feel like that kind of
my family, my internet family.
and need to communicate and give compassion and have a laugh, and so you have your own circle too, even if it's like your even if it's like your internet friends. I told you you're an internet queen a little bit, so that's kind of like it kind of works for you. And then you do have a real life relationship, so it's not like this thing where you're like married to some guy on the internet but not in real life. You know what I mean? So it's like you are there in balance as well.
I mean, obviously with a 21-year age gap comes some,
I don't know how you do it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, he's like
I do trend younger. I do trend younger, but that's like crazy young. Like, that takes a lot of patience, I feel like.
No,
he might be an old soul. Go ahead.
He's an old soul. So I'm a young soul. He's an old soul. So like I said, our initials are both SJA. We're both cancers. You know, like I have a twin sister. He gets into my brain and I'm like, get out of that space. That's my space. So, my husband, like, he truly is a good man. But with 21 years difference, I have to teach young grasshopper a few things in life because he's not wise enough at this point. Like, he's wise, but my husband, he's still, I'll say, like, he definitely doesn't understand how to apologize at all. Like, how to apologize without him always thinking that he's the victim in it. That somehow, the twist back on you, like, like he's like, I don't get it. I don't understand why you're upset. And I'm like, well, how would you feel like if you came in the bedroom and said that you were getting 2 bikes, one for you and one for Ryan, and you didn't ask, say anything about me? He's like, well, we can get you one on the next payday. I'm like, well, it's not nice of you. Why? And he's like, well, why are you getting upset? You shouldn't be upset. Like what's the big deal? And I'm like, well, what do you think? So you and Ryan are going to go bike riding, and I'm just going to stay at home while you guys go bike riding? Well, thank you so much for, and he never saw anything wrong with that. And I'm like, how did you not? And he goes, because you're just making a big deal out of nothing. And I'm like, oh, really? Oh, really, husband? Right?
So it's really like you have to,
so
you have to kind of like explain things that should be not
exactly.
need to be explained.
So I have to explain, like, this is why it upset me, because obviously it's me and you that are married. And why wouldn't you think about me having a bike as well? But no, you guys want to rush out and get a bike for yourselves. Well, great. Like I said. So of course that's going to be hurtful, because he comes into the picture and all of a sudden I get pushed to the side. Heck no, right, girls? Heck no. So yeah, so it's stuff like that he doesn't, he seems to be very clueless about. So I'm like, let me explain it to you. Sit down on the bed here. Let wifey explain that one to you. So that's where maturity comes in, because I know that we can apologize, just apologize even if we're wrong. Arguments just aren't worth it. Whereas he'll sit there being the true cancer and going, I did nothing wrong. I'm not apologizing. Nope.
Oh, because I told you my brother's a cancer. The cancer men are.
We're good. Yeah. But anyways, so it's just stuff like that, really, but
so
I'll say
a final message.
Yeah. Final message.
From the Woodland Wardens.
Yeah.
The trout and the lily and the lily of the valley.
Oh. He's the trout.
Purification. He's the trout. Probably. Both the trout and the lily of the valley symbolize return and restoration. A river and a lake teeming with trout indicates a balanced and healthy ecosystem. Conservation efforts at rewilding streams often focus on reintroducing trout to their native habitats once the rivers have been decontaminated and the barriers such as dams removed. Likewise, in the Victorian language of flowers, you seem like the Victorian language of flowers, incarnate. Yeah. The lily of the valley communicates a return to happiness. This is perhaps due to the legend of Saint Leonard, a hermit I love this deck, but what are we talking about? Okay, the hermit said to have slain the last dragon in England. Okay. Wherever the blood of the dragon was spilled, the lilies of the valley grew. And once the dragon was killed, Saint Leonard returned to his life of peaceful solitude. What are you talking about?
No
I
idea.
love this deck, but I don't understand what
I
they're
feel
saying.
like that's one of the games he plays almost.
I was about to say, because he does play those. Your difficulties
honestly
are now subsiding.
We'll remove that card from. I don't even know what it means.
Well, no. I think it's here. Listen, because that Saint Leonard thing is, what are we saying right now? Your difficulties are now subsiding, and happiness will soon be restored. Now, in your other reading, it was the Six of Swords and the Eight of Cups. So I do think that whatever he chooses to do, which you're like, if he's happy, then I'm happy. But I think what the cards are saying is that the balance is going to be returned back to center, whatever the choice is. So you might feel that, like, if he would just make a choice, then things would return. But I think that, just like I was saying with your relationship with your son, I think the tides are turning. And so they're going to be resolved in a more positive way, no matter what path you take. I think that's what they're saying. And then the question is there harmony within your personal ecosystem? And how do you tell the difference between a toxic person, a situation, an idea, and one that is required for balance? So, and I think with the moon, just talking about listening to your intuition, it's just really finding a balance between what is you, what is him, what is you together. And but I think the tides are turning, and I think that is the message. So do you have any questions? Okay.
No, I'm not going to keep you any longer than that. You know what? Like I said, I appreciate it. I know you know who I am. I'm right.
I
So
see you.
I know,
Yes.
I know you get it, right?
Yeah.
The signs of the cancer and what we stand for, especially the list. You're not on my list.
Are you on the list? I already
No,
checked. Like, and
if
then
you
once
do
you're off
something
the
to
list,
me,
you can't get
you're
back
off that
on.
list
You're
and
off the
you're
list.
gone.
Like,
Yeah. I'm very
yeah.
protective of that stuff when it comes to my friends. You have to be genuine. You have to have integrity, morals. You just have to exude those good qualities of a person. And if you try to draw like, what do you want to call it, negativity into my life, or lie or cheat or try to backstab me, you're going to get the heck out of my life just as fast as you came in it. I don't have the patience for
You're
it.
gonna you're gonna
Yeah.
cast them out like Saint
Yeah. You're
Leonard
just
and the lily of
gone.
the
See
valley
ya.
and the
Let me get the
dragon,
cards.
the dragon blood. Yeah, you're out of
Yeah.
here. Just like
Well, I appreciate it. And you guys don't forget. So on the screen there, say 50% off any reading, US code ACS 50. And that's for, I think, a week you said that
yeah,
will
for a
be up.
week till next Tuesday. Yep.
Okay, till next, right.
Awesome. Okay, well,
Okay.
I'll see you guys soon. I'll be back on here. So have a good night.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you so much.
you're
Thanks,
welcome.
Lauren.
Bye.
Thank you. Do I need to take you off? Or are you good? Okay, she's gone. Okay, Sharmain, you're allowed to. Where's Sharmain? Add to stage. Hey, Sharmain. Hey, girl.
Hi.
Hey. I know everyone's like, so wait, let's just do this right. Thank you, Lauren, so much for doing that for us. Again, right? We didn't take advantage of Lauren whatsoever. She, we paid for our readings here, and she read Daniel and Malaya, and so it was like, why not? Let's try it. So like I said, Charmaine, for you, your reading, as I know you, was bang on. Again, honestly, she couldn't have probably said it better when she's like, you're here, you're like, yeah, that's me. That's why I was like, is it a hard read? Because I'm one of those people that like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. Yeah, I'm doing this, over there, So people at work know that too. It's like I walk by and it's like, hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, nice to see you. Okay, bye-bye. Gotta go to work. Gotta go talk to somebody else. Actually, yeah, one of my boss's name, actually, the one I was telling today, her name is Lauren as well, spelled the same way. And I was like, guess what? Actually, Lauren is reading me. But anyways, so did you want to say anything quickly there before we move on?
Thank you. Thank you for reading me, Lauren. You did a really, really good job. I'm impressed.
I know. And sorry, but you guys are like, yeah, each one was an hour long and stuff like that. So again, so it's a good long read there, for sure. Anyways, so do you want to get into? I haven't seen it yet, and I'd love to watch this.
It's honestly, let's not say anything. Don't look at chat, Sunny. You watch it, and then tell me your thoughts.
Sure. Okay.
Be quiet, chat. Be quiet. Don't tell her.
Okay, so got a couple people that seem to send me here.
I got my East Coast lifestyle.
So is this like 8 minutes and 30 seconds? And Kent, thank you so much. And unfortunately, Kent, it was just kind of one of those bad timing. You guys know that we're always covering the case, but I just couldn't interfere during the read. It would have been very wrong morally to do that.
Now, Sunny, do you have the link? Or because we got the link after Kent sent his screen recording, we got the actual link. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got to make sure this is the one. I just got to make sure I got.
I'm gonna go off camera and eat my supper. But.
Oh, are you just eating dinner now? Okay, let me do it. Okay, hold on. Okay, wait, Nova Scotia. Let me do that again. Oh, it's right here. So let me go to YouTube. Okay, so removed. And again, thank you so much, Lauren. Appreciate that. Let me just kick some stuff. Remove from studio. Okay, share screen on there. Okay.
Are you able to authorize and start getting some search teams going to the Gairloch location?
Radio chatter. Search crews and first responders mobilizing in a quest no one dreamed would take this long.
Make sure mom stays close to the house there in case they happen to sneak out and get back into the house.
A home deep in rural Nova Scotia, 140 kilometres northeast of Halifax, the last known location.
A lot of area to cover. We're out in sticks here.
Not one, but two missing children. A dog that barks at everything, a mother who left on the second day, a father who hasn't seen the kids in 3 years, and a stepfather trying to piece things together.
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know like what happened.
The mystery of what happened to 6-year-old Lily Mae Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack William James Sullivan is indeed gripping the country and beyond. It is Friday, May 2nd. Martell and his partner Malaya Brooks Murray, the children's mother, are having a lazy morning with their baby. Lily and Jack are in the kitchen alone.
Malaya and baby were asleep. Lily came in multiple times. I was not in deep sleep by any means. And then about 20 minutes passed. And then when I woke up, Malaya was right beside me. She was still asleep. And I said, I don't hear Lily and Jack.
The time, no one will say for sure, but police say it was around 10 a.m. when they got a 911 call.
I ran up in the woods to the kids. They have cabins up in the woods, which only took me like 30 seconds. I came right back down. She was on the phone with the RCMP.
For 6 days, crews tackled an exhaustive search. The children's mother took the baby to be with her family in another part of the province. Her mother told CBC News the RCMP told them not to speak with news reporters. The RCMP says it just advised everyone to be mindful of the information they share publicly. On May 7th, police scaled back the search.
The probability of survival was taken into consideration.
But search crews returned for 2 more weekends until the end of May, searching wells, mine shafts, and septic systems, even flying a drone beneath the home.
The 4-year-old is wearing some blue dinosaur boots.
Police say they found a boot print. And listen to this in the radio chatter.
Families brought us to a location there, not far away, that there's a piece of a blanket.
Police won't say anything about a blanket, but Martell says a piece of Lily's blanket was found near the boot print. He says both children may have undiagnosed autism. For a lot of people, this story just sounds odd.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. And I see it every day online.
He's keenly aware the public suspects him, says the police did too at the start.
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
So he offered to take a polygraph test.
I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lily and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you?
Yeah. Yeah.
When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
Hi, Kayla. How you doing?
The RCMP's Corporal Guillaume Tremblay is not an investigating officer, but he speaks for the force in Nova Scotia.
You know, it's quite rare that in my career, I've never seen 2 missing children go at the same time.
Was anything found in any of these searches that was deemed to be of significance? Even if you can't tell me what it was, anything of significance?
So I can tell you that the investigation is ongoing and that we haven't found any evidence to show that there was an abduction of the children.
So you don't think they were abducted, but you can't find them. How do 2 young children just vanish?
That's a great question, Kayla. And we are asking for the public for tips and information.
He says the force has received close to 500 tips, some that have taken them elsewhere in the country. But the only confirmed sighting of Jack and Lily was the day before they disappeared in Nova Scotia. Martell says the children were seen on camera with the whole family. Still, police are asking for trail camera footage in the area dating back 5 days. They say they're trying to establish a timeline in the lead up to the disappearance.
So when teams are tasked, they get a bearing.
Crews have searched around 8.5 square kilometers.
Coming up through all of this stuff.
Amy Hansen has been the search manager for most of that. She's taking us into the woods to show us what her team has been dealing with.
The vast majority of it was probably from Fiona.
Downed trees from post-tropical storm Fiona 3 years ago.
This is actually fairly mild compared to some of the areas.
Over a total of 10 days, they searched for 12,000 hours.
It's pretty much unheard of in this province. It's the biggest search I've been involved in.
And she's been at this 22 years.
Do you think those kids are in the woods?
From everything I've seen, yes.
Why can't you find them?
They're small. They'd be hiding. They would have crawled underneath something probably when they got tired. They could have gone further than what we searched. There's all kinds of scenarios, unfortunately.
And that's playing heavily on the mind of this woman, Lily and Jack's paternal grandmother.
Their smiles are just beautiful.
She hadn't seen the children in nearly 2 years, a relationship left complicated after her son, their biological father, chose to stay out of their lives. She says he has been questioned by police 3 times.
A couple of days ago, they had contact and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything was fine.
She says she joined the search herself as soon as she heard Lily and Jack were missing. She doesn't believe the children are in the woods.
There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not.
The brush is just too thick.
It is way too thick. Way too thick.
Tonight is about saying a prayer.
She attended a vigil in Pictou County marking 1 month since the children went missing and says she feels the support of the community and beyond.
Well, these are everybody's grandchildren. They're not just mine now.
As she clings to cherished keepsakes.
This is Lily's handprint.
She is pleading for any information that could provide answers.
There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old. And they deserve so much better than what they got.
She keeps her mind occupied spending time in the garden, surrounded by hummingbirds. Symbols of hope, though she admits now that so much time has passed, she doesn't have much hope the children will be found alive, and even worries the mystery of what happened to them may never be solved.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I want to say, if you haven't hit that like and share button, please do it in honor of Jack and Lily. Please do it for Belinda, the grandmother that's been speaking to the channel. It's a hard one to watch when I seen that at the end.
Yes. She's the only one that has any kind of emotion.
My thoughts are, first of all, to the police officer, just a generic response, to be honest with you. Your typical response, you know. They're going to be offering a reward coming up, just so you know, for the public that doesn't know that. So they're going to be offering a reward. That's what I was talking about yesterday, which is not a good sign, really, to be offering a reward. That just for you on that one, Sharmain. If a reward is offered up, like I've been told, what does that mean to you? Just to ask you.
that they're stumped. They're stuck. They have nowhere to go but to the public for help.
That's what it means to me as well. It's not a good sign. So, you see?
Everybody is saying, well, they said no evidence of an abduction. That's right. But there's no evidence of anything, and they're putting a reward out. And I'm not saying it was an abduction, whatever, but big picture, people, just because that law enforcement officer said those words today doesn't mean they're not looking into it. They're going to look into everything, as they have been for almost 7 weeks now. 7 weeks, you guys. And now they're starting to think about a reward. Really?
Mm-hmm. You guys, I didn't ask who was putting it out, but it doesn't sound like me. It sounds like it's going to come from, law enforcement or one of those things, Crime Stoppers or something.
Probably Crime Stoppers.
Yeah, I wouldn't that lady. I don't know what kind of answer she was giving. Like everything, she believes that they're in the woods somewhere. Is she's smoking something?
That her and her professional team of searchers just missed them, and 130,000 man hours of searching just missed them because they could have crawled under something. It could have gotten farther than they thought. Daniel in this thing said 20 minutes, even give it 25 minutes after they wandered away, he sprinted out there and he didn't find anything.
Yeah.
To me, that was just kind of backing up what they've been saying all along. This is, to me, just feeding the public some information that they've been saying all along. And I don't think that they're investigating the angle of them wandering away anymore.
No, I don't think so. Your take on Daniel. I'm trying to picture the one guy talking today, the cousin of the grandmother. Unless there's another interview that's going to come out tomorrow, I think there might be still, with regards perhaps to others in it. There still might be, if I'm not mistaken, because that was just really Belinda and Daniel, but yet they spoke to Justin, and so we'll see on that one. Sharmain, I keep flip-flopping like a fish, and this is no different at the moment. I don't know.
Things out to you then.
Okay.
In this interview here, they said that Daniel said that it was a piece of Lily's blanket. And he's told us many times that it wasn't her blanket.
Right.
He completely changed his story about the 911 call.
Yeah, that was
he told me, yeah. She asked him, should I call?
She asked her. Right.
But in this, he said when he got back from searching the woods, she was on the phone with the police. That's
right.
No.
Yeah. So let me put it this way. I absolutely did pick up on all that stuff for sure. I'm gonna need to re-listen to it all again. I like to do. I know that Malaya's side of the family at this moment hasn't spoken out. One of the things that the cousin on the Dolly Visions channel there said that Malaya brought one of her friends that's a psychic medium or something like that. And my thing is this. If you knew that you had something to do with your child, why would you bring a psychic medium? Right? Like, that doesn't make sense. If you knew that you took the children and hid them somewhere, why would you feel the need to bring a psychic medium? Now, that's just going by his words, but it makes me ponder about that. Daniel, there's the strongest motive, it would be, if I was to hypothetically say, would be that um, that Daniel, Daniel would be the logical person to look at, because if she's about to leave him, this would kind of fall in line with typically a lot of the stuff that does happen in true crime, and he doesn't want to lose whatever. I'm having a hard time believing him anymore at all, to be honest with you, because at the moment I kind of keep looking at him like he's just a pathological liar, and he does it, and he knows how to play the games. He did say about the blanket or whatever. How are you seeing it? Because I need to really absorb the information from the cousin to his interview and what that all means again, to really look at it again. But how did you guys walk away feeling from it? What did you, Sharmain?
I still feel like I want to believe him, but I'm past that point now. Like, I can't, because of the inconsistencies, and now changing, and like I've got the words, I've got what he said. I have it. I have his story. One of his stories. I'm sorry. And so even if I was misremembering, I went back and I took a screenshot again. I didn't.
Like, the cousin even said, right? Like, when I say the cousin, you guys just know I'm referencing the Maria's grandmother's cousin. But he even said that I know that he said something like, what did he say exactly, Sharmain? He said, I used to think, or something like that, that Daniel didn't know anything or have involvement or something like that, he said. And he goes, but I know he knows something more, right?
Yeah.
I know he knows something more. And if I was to just look at, as more information has come out, if I was to look at the logical line still, the logical line says usually the stepfather had reason and motive to do something versus the mother hiding them. It doesn't make sense, because what do you need to hide Jack and Lily for? That doesn't make sense. Even if she's leaving him, leave him, because that becomes about Meadow, the custody. She obviously looked at him in a way of disgust or whatever when she couldn't look at him. That means a lot to me in all of this, because if someone leaves that fast and he literally comes out and says that, then that tells me that, right, like, basically the whole family's blaming you because there's a reason, because Malay is telling you. And it's not just because, to me, of, say, Daniel was supposed to be watching them. I don't believe that. I think it's something happened to Jack and Lily. And as much as I want to believe that they're hidden, honestly, as the information is coming out more, and I don't know, you know what, it would have to be, Sharmain, as much as tried to believe Daniel. What he said in here doesn't really mesh really with what he was saying. And how they said in this thing, like, that nobody's seen the kids before that. So what happened to the barking dog? The one, the barking dog in the morning that your mom thought she heard the kids, and that's how, stuff like that. At this moment myself, if I was to go one way, I would say I don't believe Daniel. That's my thoughts.
No, I don't either.
I just, I don't. If I'm gonna pick, what was he, a Leo? If I'm gonna pick a sign that I trust more, it's gonna be Pisces over Leo, by the way. And I say that because, like I said, I know a lot of Pisces and stuff like that, and I know that's my moon, but I'm not seeing the mother hurting her children. I'm not. As we got to know that there was no party and all this stuff. I don't feel like it's two people. Oops, I just went blurry. Still kind of blurry. 1 second. I still feel like I don't feel like it's both. I feel like it's kind of one or the other. I don't feel like when two people, Sharmain, to me, have committed something together, you ain't running off the next day, you know, and blocking somebody. You're not doing that.
No.
That's not good. My camera's still blurry a bit. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing if two of them are involved. That's not usually how you know, couples work that way. Usually they'll lie together until they get busted in their own words and stuff. I don't know. But do you still think abduction though? Like a stranger or God, my stupid camera. Can you hear me, Sharmain? Can you guys hear me? Just hit 1 if you can. Because Sharmain's spiraling over there. I gotta move my thing because my camera's fudging up. Come on, camera.
What was that?
Oh, you circled around. My camera. Sharmain, can you talk for a second? Because I really got to go to the bathroom anyway. Can you just talk for a second to the chat? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the number one is. My internet was glitching out, so I missed probably 30 seconds there. There are too many lies to keep anything straight, Kent, in this, and unfortunately we don't know for sure who's telling the truth, or sorry, if Daniel is telling the truth, because Malaya is not talking. We have a couple of people who claim to be family members of Malaya talking, but they're not really talking much about the day. And that cousin today on Dolly was more, to me, regurgitating everything that Daniel had said to me and probably others that he's talking to, which does not line up to what he said in this interview, which is troubling. Like, that is troubling. There are a lot of highway cams, yeah, for sure. There are highway cams, and I mean, there's, if law enforcement came out and said, look, here is XYZ why we've ruled out an abduction, that is a far cry from saying there's no evidence of an abduction. They're not saying they've ruled it out. To me, that's even more troubling because they're basically saying they're not investigating that angle. I'm sure, I hope they are, but it's going on 7 weeks. It's a little late to start an investigation into an abduction if that's what had happened. And if it's not, it's still, especially if that search and rescue person was accurate, thinking that they're all thinking the kids are out in those woods, and that's honestly where they've been concentrating and focusing their resources on for 7 weeks. Like, it's terrible to hear. Like, hopefully that's not accurate. Hopefully that's her own opinions and her own thoughts. But again, did we get any information from the RCMP? No, because they're not going to tell us anything. The highway camera would be Mount Tom. The others is trail cameras public had on properties, not roadsides. Yeah. And about the cousin, he was talking, the one part that Sonny missed, he started talking about the sighting of the kids getting their hair cut in New York. But Dolly failed to ask him, how did the kids get across the border without a passport, unless they took their passports with them when they were taken or wandered away, or I mean, that's nonsensical. That whole sighting was nonsensical.
For some reason, my camera's being so stupid. Go ahead.
Yeah, my internet is really weak, so I've got mine off. What is the ones for?
You guys, what did I ask you guys again? What did I ask? Now I forget. I forget what I asked. But I gotta remember. Tell me what I asked somebody. What's going on with my camera? Dang it. It's driving me crazy. It's just blurry. Normally I just have to walk away from it and come back and it goes fine. But it just wants to stay blurry.
Oh, so you just wanted to know if they could hear you.
Oh, yes. Thank you, guys. That was the question. What the heck is going on with my camera? It's never done this where it just stays blurry.
No. Stay off the bed. My dog just came home and he was in the lake, so he's wet. I'll be right back. I have to kick him out. Nope.
One second here. I've never had it where my camera just stayed blurry. Well, that went fine. One second. Where's the light on this thing? Husband, where's the light on this thing? On the fan up top. What's the light? Well, if I could see it, I would look at it.
That interview, I think, is definitely one that I'm going to watch a couple more times.
It just goes on and on, talking about making it brighter.
Well, I know that, dog karma. I get that, but how do you smuggle 2 kids over the border and then feel safe enough to take them for a haircut? Like, I don't.
No, I found it, but it wasn't what you were saying.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It just doesn't seem plausible to me that, okay, we're going to smuggle the kids. Now we're going to take them for a haircut in public. So close to the border? I don't know. Sounds ridiculous to me.
There, I think that should be better. Turned up the family. It was
and
just,
not just that, tell me what incentive there would be for Malaya not to be talking if that's how things went down. She still can't see her kids.
Thank you, Jenna.
She can't tell anybody. She can't talk to them. Nothing, because the RCMP are watching her. They're probably watching her. They're probably watching her phone. They're probably watching her mother. Come on. Just in my opinion. Right. And I'm not saying, I don't think that somebody came here to kidnap them. I think the thought, and correct me, chat if I'm wrong, but I think the thought is that Malaya's mom set up for the kids to be taken and they're being hidden across the border, and whoever's hiding them decided to take them for a haircut. I think that's what we're maybe I'm wrong, but you're right. There's a plethora of children in the United States if a kidnapper wanted to kidnap. Right. Okay. And I think that they actually said something about that and just like I said at the beginning, you guys, I said the RCMP is not going to tell the parents of missing children not to talk. They're just not. They're going to say, we're going to ask you to say certain things. And they said, be mindful of what you say. but they're never going to tell parents of missing children don't talk to the media. They want them to talk to the media. They just don't want them to share certain information. That's all.
I want to hear one legit reason, though. I do. I would like to hear one legit reason why Malaya would feel the need to leave a relationship and hide the kids.
It doesn't make sense.
Like,
even
when you think about it, it's like, yeah, what possible motive could there have been? I could have seen like a fuck up, and she tried to do something in a certain like mind game type of way, but then I would have seen that, like, yeah, the kids are over here safe and sound, but I was, sorry, but not 7 weeks later. I don't.
And even the thought of that being like, Daniel believes that that's what happened, that to get Leia away from him, her mother took the kids to force Malaya away from him. That's what I was told that Daniel believes. So I can't make that make sense, in that if that was the case and Malaya's like, oh my God, okay, so if I come with you, my kids are okay and I'm going to have my kids back. She still can't see her kids because the police would know that they're not missing. They're still missing. And at what point does a grown-ass adult decide that I'm committing a serious felony here? I should probably just let them know this is a family court issue and not a criminal one. It doesn't make sense. And I think Daniel is experiencing a huge amount of denial when it comes to his relationship with Malaya, especially if she was legitimately planning on leaving him.
Well,
that's all in my opinion.
I was going to say, like, just think about what that cousin said when he was saying it at the end there about Daniel's relationship with Malaya. Like I been saying too, it's like, like Daniel needs a bib for the drool, because in Daniel's, this is a controlling relationship. So in Daniel's world, Malaya is everything. He probably thinks the sun shines underneath her ass no matter what she does. Again, I mean, that's why he got so upset, right? Because he's putting down Malaya, but then saying like there's not one part that he actually is truly, saying that she's like, she's awesome, she's so great. Everything is a put down. To me, those things stand out when you think about everything surrounding it. Like, again, why is Daniel a stepfather so diligently, for the love of Malaya, I'm going to search a lifetime for these babies, type of thing. The mother's not saying anything at all. But yet, by the same token, when I look at the CPS, why Malaya leaving that day, inconsistencies in this interview, and knowing full well what that cousin said as well. I mean, obviously, he's believing Daniel's timeline of events in a sense. But yet he's saying, I used to think that Daniel, didn't play a part, or whatever the words he said there. And then he says, but now I know he's not saying stuff, right? Why? Because honestly, there's no reason actually for Malaya to hide her kids, right? Besides taking them to her grandmother's or mother's, but she was living with her grandmother when she met Daniel. The grandmother that is the cousin too, whatever. But it just, what makes sense is that there's so many crimes against children where a jealous ex-husband, controlling, manipulator, liar, does whatever to the children. That is a very common thing. This thing is really, it's not going to be one of those far-fetched out there scenarios. But my problem is why do they need to, if they offer the award, like I was told, and I was told that, by Belinda. So that's where that came from. But I'm not going to tell you where she got that from. I'm just going to say that. So should that come to fruition, that sucks. To me, that sucks. Because that's telling me that they do need the public's help in order to help try to figure out what happened to Jack and Lily. And I honestly didn't think it was going to be there for that. But if they're offering a reward, that sucks. It sucks. That's how I see it, is that it sucks. It tells me that they don't know exactly what's going on here because they're trying to figure out between the lies and the truth and stuff like that. And it's, to be honest with you, I think a lot of it is that in that area, Sharmain, that they just don't have the proper advantage of digital data, and cameras, because it's such a rural area and they don't have like their digital data, it's going to be more sparse information, I think, that they have.
And when everybody goes back and watches that interview again, I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm just going to say, just watch Daniel's face when he answers the question about the polygraph, about how and when he was told he passed it.
Yeah.
Watch his face.
Yeah. His answer was strange, as a matter of fact. Let's play that part, actually.
He answered it in an East Coast kind of way, but to me it was more just his face when he answers how and when he found out he passed.
I think it's in this part.
Sounds odd.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. And I see it every day online.
He's keenly aware the public suspects him, says the police did too at the start.
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
So he offered to take a polygraph test.
I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lily and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
Hi, Kayla. How you doing?
The RCMP's Corporal Guillaume Tremblay is not an investigating officer.
Big smirk. You did a good job. You passed. Here's a freaking sticker for you.
He tried to get rid of that smirk. He was fighting it, but he couldn't help it.
Yeah. I didn't, when he said that, you did a good job. You passed. Is that the smirk of a narcissistic, one of those people, a manipulator? Because he's so proud of himself.
He could have been pleased with himself.
Yeah.
And the licking of the lips drippy. Yes, I saw that. When he was saying, right after he said, did you kill Jack and Lily?
Yeah.
I mean, it's troubling. The whole thing is troubling. And we're not professionals. We're just giving our personal opinions on what we're seeing based on what we've heard in the past, right? And it's troubling. And it's not helping find these little kids. And that's the frustrating part. None of this is helping.
The one thing that kind of like that cousin said, which obviously he's oblivious to true crime. He's like, well, I mean, this does apply to some channels for sure, but he said, I don't really see anyone making this about Lily or Jack. It's just about speculation and stuff like that.
And about Daniel and Malia.
But the bottom line is, what are we supposed to do? Sit on the live for 2-3 hours and to just keep saying how sweet and cute Lily and Jack are? Obviously, right? But that's going to get old fast at the end of the day. It's about Lily and Jack. But does he expect us to just sit there and just talk about the toys that they played with and stuff like that? Or unless he was just meaning that to some of the channels that just really, are the bottom
He
feeders.
really stressed the point that he wants the public to put pressure on the RCMP to start giving more information. If you guys are going to put out a reward looking for public input and public tips and information, then you need to give us more. Like they would be amazed at what web sleuths can actually do when given the proper information instead of having to dig around in the dark and find the shit.
Absolutely, Sharmain. I totally agree with that. They have a pot of gold in their hand with the internet, knowing full well it's a two-way street. You're going to have the good and you're going to have the bad. But honestly, yes, they have a pot of gold at their disposal for people that have way more talents than they ever could when it comes to, people like that are good at internet stuff, and you know what I mean? Like they have a small force, but you can't reckon with the mass amounts of intelligence that are out there in the true crime that can literally dig and sniff and gather so fast. So I feel like they're missing the boat.
Absolutely. It's like they never saw Don't Fuck with Cats.
Right. So I just so that part maybe hopefully will be better bridge one day. But again, right? Everything they like, it's kind of, I don't know, whatever. It reminds me of an ego thing when it's just like, no, you're not doing just fine. You're clearly not doing just fine. But it's just that as a team, if they realize that the internet can be so useful, because it is, we can spread information faster than they ever can. We can dig up shit faster than the news ever could.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just imagine if you had actual credible information to go off of and not just guessing and looking through shit. The power of the internet and people that know how to use it is phenomenal if used properly. And I've said it for years. The police need to start looking at this platform as a tool and manipulate us, like feed us some information. For example, look at Delphi. Look at Delphi.
God.
Carter and his, throw this podcast, this information. They're going to do a story on it, and everybody else is going to they're going to dig, and they're going to find out the information that we want to know. And nobody will ever convince me otherwise. That's what was going on. And they did. It worked. And me included, Sunny included. We heard it, and we were down there. We were in that rabbit hole until we got to the bottom of it.
Yes, we can. I think everyone has their place, and the police, whether it's the United States or around the world or whatever, like I said, it's one of those things is that they don't know what kind of gold that they have, because they're still resisting it, acting like that, like we're more of a pain in their ass than helpful, which is not true. I just think it's, like I said, comes about to that whole ego piece. They're just not willing so far to really connect that way, sadly.
They say, we don't want to compromise our investigation. We have to protect our investigation, the integrity of the investigation for when we go to trial, if there is a trial. And I totally understand that. But evidence is evidence, and I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. In Canada, I'm not sure about the States, but in Canada, we have fruit of poisonous tree. So if you fuck one thing up, everything that happened before that is out. So they have to be very careful. I understand that. But when you're going blind for 7 weeks to the point where now we're hearing about a reward coming next week. So we're that blind that we're going to start offering to pay you for information. To me, it's time to release more information, unless they have none, which would be a terrifying thought.
Yep. Okay. We're gonna call it a night, guys. It's been a long night. We're on coming on 4 hours here. I know we've done longer, but I got to work at 6:30 a.m. Myself. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you, Jenna, for the $6.99 super chat. Appreciate that. Other than that, thanks everyone. Thanks for sending me emails. Thanks, Kent. Happy birthday to Citizen Sleuth and Kent yesterday for their birthdays. And other than that, it's been a long day. Thank you so much to Lauren. Again, her channel is Astro by Lauren. If anyone wants to get a read. Whoops, I think I'm just going to put this up one more time here. Okay. Oh, I got it. I got it. Oh, God. Okay, it's been a night. Anyways, yeah. So, thanks again to Lauren for the reads for me and Sharmain. And, like I said, I feel like that Lauren actually just, is really good. Like, she's really good at what she does, obviously. Instantly with her, I think, like what she said is that, you don't, sometimes, like, it's like with Sharmain too, same thing happened. Sometimes you just don't need to know someone long when you already get the sense of who they are as a person. And it's kind of like you've known each other for a long time. And that's how it always felt with Sharmain. And same with Alexa, even that same way. Just sometimes you just connect and whatever. So I see Lauren. I really like her personality, to be honest with you. She's very bubbly. I think does she laugh more than I do? I think she almost laughs more than I do. She's a happy person. You didn't even answer me on that. What are you looking at? I said she's a bubbly person.
No, my internet. She is very bubbly. I said the first time you had her on, I said she has a delightful way about her.
Yeah.
I'm very tired.
Yeah, I am too. But anyways, you guys, thanks for staying up with us, as I know it's really late over there in Nova Scotia. It's 4 hours difference. It's 2 a.m. It's 10 p.m. on the Pacific Coast time. Lordy, yeah, he went to bed. He said he was going to bed, and then he never went to bed, and then he started doing it. Look at Sharmain. She's yawning there, too. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much to everybody. Of course, hit the like and the share if you haven't already. Stay blessed. See you tomorrow. Okay? I will. I'm not sure about Sharmain, but I will. All righty? Good night, guys. Thank you so much.
Good night.
And Sharmain, just stick around for one more minute in the background with me.
Okay.
I just got to find it, Sharmain. Where are we going? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Bye, guys.
A Norfolk night, the world is cold. We stand surrounded, we are not alone. Within my reverie, there's holy light. Without a number, we stand and fight. And Lord,